You can be
Everyone's,
bald now.
if everyone's ready. Okay,
Wig.
let's test fates here.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Yay, it worked.
Ba-ba.
All right. When last we left you, Blue Hearts, having seen Ellen's children and your loved ones off to safety, you resolved to journey to Ashea and track down Robin Farlight. You enlisted Dr. Walden's aid to travel there by airship. After only a few days' travel, you beheld the gleaming jewel of the East, Al-Khalad. Sailing on the upper terraces of the Grand Mesa city, you looked to acquire information on how to track down your quarry. You were eventually pointed toward a reclusive information broker known as the Librarian, who did public dealings through an elven orphan named Cedric. You located Cedric and convinced him to bring you to an audience with the Librarian, and after some persuasion, you succeeded. Cedric brought you to the Librarian's underground lair in the sewers beneath the city. As you waited, you encountered strangely non-hostile skeletal pets, suggesting that the Librarian was a necromancer. Just as you were pondering this, the Librarian made his appearance, and you learned with some surprise that he was none other than Odin Riftwhistle, the lich you had slain once before. So, that is where we pick up.
Awfully nice seeing you again.
There's this sort of tension in the air. As Odin is just sort of standing at the entrance of the room. He's got like one hand still drawing back the curtain in the hallway behind him, like he's just entered the room, and he's like staring wordlessly at the rest of your group, like kind of his one good eye tracing your whole group of people, fairly, with few exceptions, just towering over him nonetheless, as he is a gnome, of course. He looks at you all for a moment. And there's just like for a few heartbeats, and then he takes one step backward, and he says, I think I hear the kettle. I left the stove on, so I gotta go.
You can
Goth
relax,
takes-
we're not here to hunt you down.
Bye! And he just quickly pivots and starts booking it.
Can I try and catch him?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, what do I need to roll?
Well, what does Goff want to do? Because you were.
I was gonna do.
Sorry,
I mean, he
Tom.
ran, so it kind of nothing, I guess.
What do you want to do, Mido?
I'm gonna try and catch him.
Okay, so he's already fleeing. You, being a much taller creature, have more
That's
movement speed than
striding.
him. So you rush after him. You're the first to take initiative, I would say, and you rush after him down this hallway. It's a narrow hallway. You push back the curtain. You see him sort of fleeing down this hallway, scampering, like hiking his robe up a little bit so he can run faster. And he's fleeing toward what looks to be a gnome-sized doorway at the end of the hallway. What do you do?
I want to before you can go in. I want to like dive and try and grab him.
Okay. Make a. I'm gonna make this less athletics and more acrobatics, because this is more like you're trying to like be nimble on your feet.
I'm fully
Fine.
expecting a Pooh Bear situation.
Poof.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So, Mido, you run forward, and you look like you're closing the gap between Riftwhistle and yourself. And just as it looks like you're about to catch him, you stumble forward a little bit, and you see just out of the corner of your eye, from an adjoining hallway, what looks to be just a quickly moving object. Does not hit you. You dodge just in time as the hilt of a sword looks like it's trying to land a glancing blow across your face, just like a bludgeoning like smack to your face. And you dodge just in time. You back up a little bit, and it's at that point that you see that Cedric, who's coming out of the adjoining hallway, just sort of spins around and intercedes between you and Odin, and he's brandishing a sword at you, and he looks at you just glowering menacingly. This teenaged boy. What do you do? And what do the rest of you do? As this
I want to say that Goff didn't chase it, like didn't run after him, but he's like doing his like stride, and he just like after Mido takes off, he looks at everyone else, he sighs, and then he just like walks like quickly down the hallway following her, and so he's probably like walking up behind Mido at this point.
Okay. Sissel, Hiraeth.
Sissel's just gonna just walk behind the party and just watch this shit go down.
Okay. Hiraeth, you doing the same?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I'd say Ellen and Verna as well, and Robin and Quint Farlight as well. You're all just sort of chasing after the situation. Once you meet up with Mito in the hallway, you see that interposed between her and Rift Whistle is this young elven teenage boy. He's sort of like got a sword at the ready. He's in a like an offensive stance, as if he's trying to ward you off. And he kind of shouts over his shoulder and he says, "I'll take care of him, sir. You get out to safety." And Rift Whistle just stops and turns around in the hallway from his flight, and he looks and he says, "Cedric, what are you doing? Get out of here, kid."
You can
What do you do?
both relax, you know. We're not here to fight.
"Oh, well, that would have been convenient to know after you killed me once."
Yeah, well, you know,
Yeah,
we're
and
not
you running away is really doing a lot to undermine your threateningness here.
"Look, I'm not here to be threatened. You came into my house."
Exactly. Maybe we don't want to kill you.
"How do I know that?"
We
We
actually
would have
didn't
done
even know
it
was you.
already.
Make a persuasion check.
Me?
Yeah, with advantage.
Oh God.
Because, yeah, well, Mito is helping you.
Oh god.
My dice is currently underneath something, so I need to.
It's fine, your persuasion is like stupid high, isn't it? Yeah?
Yeah. It is.
What roll was that? Oh jeez,
16
wow!
and 18.
Both above 30.
That's
Oh,
disgusting.
moly.
This is why I don't do persuasion checks anymore, because it makes it too easy.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I would do it all the time. Why?
Well,
Just be more like Mel. Just do it as much as you physically can.
Yeah.
So I will say that the tone of your voice, which is coming across as just non-threatening in this manner, and combined with your general demeanor, that like you guys don't have your weapons brandished or anything like that, sort of makes Rift Whistle like kind of fall on the back step a little bit, and he seems unsure. He pauses a little bit. He says, "Give me one good reason why I should do business with you."
Maybe we can help you out. Maybe
Did Cedric not give you details?
Maybe if you help us out, we can leave you alone.
Or I could just go in my room, which is too small for you to follow, and then you'll leave me alone.
Not that. Just blow up your room. Just blow up this whole place.
Cedric, put your sword down. You wouldn't be able to fight these guys anyway. They're killers. They're gonna hurt you if you try something.
He just looks. Goth. After he says we're killers.
Says the necromancer.
What? Look, you saw me at the time. I asked for your help. Instead, you spat in my face. You called me little man. He's looking squarely at Goff at this point. Very racist, by the way. So
Goff
again,
looks
I
at-
ask you, give me one good reason why I should help you.
Need I remind you? You were raising an army of the undead.
It wasn't my intention to do that.
Well, you did
But
that.
was
your
being
actions
coerced
brought
by
it about,
them.
and you must take accountability.
And I was
You
trying to. Listen,
I will do this much for you. I apologize for my racism. I was angry, but it is no excuse. Everything else I do not forgive you for, even if it was not your intention. Now, you want a reason? We have plenty. Your existence is in jeopardy, whether you know it or not. We could let you know about all of that. And in turn, you could help us find what we're looking for.
what are you talking about?
You have become a lich.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I
Are you going
figured
to-
that out after you killed me, and I came back to life. That was a surprise.
You
And then I did a
know?
little bit of reading, and I figured it out. Yeah,
You are undead.
yeah, I know that. It's not entirely my intention, but that's how
Are we
it
going
worked
to have
out.
this conversation through this hallway?
As long as you are that menacing, yeah.
Menacing.
Yeah, you're menacing me right now.
Can menace you harder if you want to.
Look, this is not real. You were very bad at persuasion. You should leave it up to this one. And he points over at Ray. At least this one knows how to not make threats.
You don't even let me finish attempting to persuade is the problem. You keep talking over me.
Cedric already should have told you what the deal is. Information.
There is a great threat looming over this world that has an immense amount of control over the undead, and you will be no different.
Make a persuasion check.
Is that including my thing?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
Always
it
with
would,
you.
it would, yeah. -1 plus 7. 23.
Okay. He kind of blinks once or twice and he says, "All right, you first." And he says, he looks around himself. All right, back to the foyer. Sit down. And he like points toward the way you guys came. When he starts moving toward you.
Yeah.
Goff just
start
keeps it like
walking that way.
Goff just follows his movement and just watches him very closely. But otherwise,
I mean, he's not. You guys are in the hallway blocking him. He's motioning
oh,
to
I
you
thought he
to
was
head
walking
back.
past us. Okay.
No, he's not. No, he's not gonna. He's gonna wait because Cedric is basically still interceding between the two of you. And after you guys move back out of the hallway, Cedric follows. He sheathes his weapon, and Rift Whistle follows as well. And you find a bunch of chairs and such in the meeting room, tables and such. And Rift Whistle finds a chair and he pulls it up. He tries to kind of pull himself into it, but he's too short. And Cedric eventually just sort of like lifts him up into it. And he sits there for a moment. You see for a moment the skeletal cat jumps up on the table and he starts like petting it. He looks toward you and he says, "All right. So you're looking for information. You tell me what you need, and that will determine the gravity of what you must pay. What kind of information?"
We
So,
are
I'm waiting.
looking for two people. One of them is in the city and the other is somewhere in the storm.
In the Great Storm.
We've reason to
But-
believe there might be a monastery out there.
I might know something about that, yeah. So what will you give me in return for information? You're mentioning something about a great undead menace. You talking about that big moon that's coming this way?
Yes. That pale stone you carried when we last encountered each other is a piece of that. Imagine the influence that little stone had. Now imagine one of a celestial body's size. The corrupted and terribly malformed body of an infant god.
No kidding.
No,
He seems-
no kidding.
He seems kind of thoughtful at that. So you're saying this thing is a god, it's dead, and it's coming this way. For what purpose? What's it doing?
This is Tom's fault. Did we actually learn what it's trying to do, or is it just sort of like doing things mindlessly? I
It's
can't
mindless.
remember.
It's just hungry.
We don't have a reason. It's just doing this stuff.
It's just hungry.
My
It
notes
just
say,
looks. It just looks for souls or like people to turn undead or to control.
My notes say insatiable hunger for a life it was never granted.
Oh, that's right. That really brutal line that I forgot. Sorry.
Yeah. It's just hungry.
It's
It's
Gross.
hungry.
Hungry rock.
it's not. As far as we know, it has no concise thought. It is merely hungry.
Who told you this?
Let's. Why don't we? That information can wait.
Fine. I'll say that for that information, I can tell you about the monastery you're looking for. But any further information, the second person that you're looking for, maybe we'll discuss that and broker a deal later in this conversation. So,
Well,
go on. No, you start talking again, and he just stops and he looks at you.
Goff kind of looks at Quinn.
Quinn just sort of shrugs. You're leading the conversation, not me.
But he's not looking at him like you should say something. He was looking at him like trying to think about which information we should prioritize here.
Okay.
Well, the other person is in this city, is it? At least we believe they are.
I mean,
That-
more
that
information
much we
go
know.
on than that. I have people in the city who are eyes and ears. They hear things, but I need a little bit more specifics. He looks around the room at all of you.
As for that person, he's a vampire.
Vampire? No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of town.
Really nasty fellow to fight. His
You
name
know-
is Robin.
Robin. Okay. Cedric, you know anybody named Robin? Any of the kids seen him? Cedric looks down and he says, we haven't been getting names, but we've certainly been noticing some strange folks moving around the city, people in white robes moving in alleyways.
White robes. Yes.
That's him. All right. Strange you mentioned vampire, though. That's powerful magic. I'm
Yeah,
assuming it came from the same place. Same hailstone.
I don't think we know that, do we?
You know that Medici used the pale heartbeat.
Oh,
yep.
okay. We believe so, yes, though it was not done so willingly.
That's might be where you're wrong. You see, I don't know much about. Well, I do know much about the undead. It's kind of my stock and trade. But I would say that vampires, they're a little bit more of a, well, say they're a higher class of undead life form, if you will. They're not, mindless zombies or whatever. When you raise something complex like that, there needs to be a level of willingness on the subject's part. You can't just force them to do it. Otherwise, they wouldn't retain their mind. They wouldn't be intelligent.
Well, we know that his part of his soul was placed into a stone. So, whatever was left of him after that might have been just willing enough.
Yeah, it's possible. So he looks over to Cedric again. These white robed figures. Yeah. What do you think, Cedric? And Cedric says, well, I have seen some of these white robed figures poking around the sewer areas. We actually had to chase a few of them off. They've been looking for something. Way into something underneath the city. He says, yeah, they've... Oh, there's ruins down there, right? He looks over to you guys. Yeah, this whole mesa is actually built on a ruin. It's deep underground.
Great.
What kind of ruin?
High-tech stuff, actually. You'd be surprised. You've heard of the precursors, right?
Yeah, we know about them a little bit.
Well, my understanding is that there's one of these such ruins, some sort of complex system or center for research, or whatever it used to be, deep down underneath the city. They might be looking for a way in. I do know one way in, for sure, but it might be a little tricky.
Tricky
He
is
looks
kind
sort
of
of-
our MO.
Well, I know for sure that there's a surefire way in through the Alcalad family crypt, the royal family. You're not gonna just be able to waltz right in there. Maybe you will. Maybe you're smart enough. Maybe you'll be able to get past the guards. Otherwise, you'd have to probably seek out an audience with the Radiant Empresses, which good luck with that. Your other option is to follow the way that the White Robes have been doing. Try to find some way of getting into these ruins without going through the crypt. Maybe they've been blasting something somewhere. I don't know. Sidra could probably be able to tell you more about that. He's got his little network of, well, you've met them. He kind of glares at Sissel.
Sissel.
And don't
looks
think
a-
that Cedric didn't tell me how you were treating him.
I apologize. It might have been a little forceful.
She's just a bully.
Mm,
So, does that satisfy your need for information?
What do you think? I just look at the party.
I
Likely.
suppose so.
What would it take to learn about how to get through this storm?
That depends on what else you're willing to part with. For example, who told you about the Pale Moon?
I don't think that is information we can divulge even if we wanted to.
That's too bad. You're welcome out there in the desert. Figure it out for yourself.
Do you like being a lich?
I mean, I don't like being undead if that's what you're asking. But all I wanted was some peace and quiet, time enough to read it and learn everything I could. I didn't know it was going to turn me undead, for crying out loud, but I didn't think it would. Kind of looks away, do what it did in the Vale.
Clearly. Do you wish to reverse this?
Well, I think that would depend on what reversing this means.
I'm pretty sure at this point that would just mean I'd rot into a pile of dust.
Maybe.
So I'm gonna say no for now.
You can make the most of it. You've effectively got a new lease on life at this point. Just don't go raising armies of undead, you know?
I'm not intending to. He looks over at Cedric and he says, "Look, the kids here, they needed help. I figured I could."
Sorry.
No, go on.
How did you end up here anyway? What led you to this place?
After I reformed, I needed to get as far away from Fortuna as I could, so I headed east. Got here. Was lost. Met Cedric. Kid was. He was half himself. So, I mean, I'm not a healer. I don't have the power of a divine goddess or god on my side, but I wanted to do something for him. It's, the best I could do, really, without those healing powers. But, sometimes you want a solution that doesn't rely on your healthcare being relying on a deity. So I fixed them best I could.
I mean, I get a pretty, I pretty much get the genuine impression from this, but I'm gonna roll insight just for the sake of
Sure.
rolling it. That's a good roll, plus a really high thing, 29.
That's pretty good, yeah. I would say he doesn't seem like he's deceiving you. He seems pretty thoughtful, like he's remembering like his first times coming to the city and like the things he saw and experienced. So look, I've been trying to help where I can. You know, I don't ask for much. I'm not a criminal mastermind, although there are some there's some in this city, and I try to keep these kids safe from that. It's better than them, going into the drug trade or whatever the Silent do.
The silent?
Yeah, that's the local. Think of them like the Company of the East.
Oh. Great.
Something we want to avoid.
Yeah.
Well, if
Run by a
all you're-
tabaxi. Nasty piece of work, that guy.
if all he's doing is
Oh,
raising
no.
cats and dogs, I'm not that
No.
concerned about him. But
Wait,
You do-
what?
No, I'm just having a theory form in my head right now. Please keep talking. Sorry, Alex.
I lost what I was gonna say.
I'm sorry.
Something about raising cats and dogs.
No, I don't remember.
I actually, there were too many people talking at once, so I
It's
actually
my
lost
fault,
the
I'm sorry.
conversation.
Oh no.
Were you responding to like him helping the kids, or the company of the
Silent.
East, the Silent?
Oh yeah, the Silent or the Company of the East. You'd have better luck with. Or there's something.
Oh, okay. I'm really
Oh,
sorry.
We all had like a collective memory loss here.
Yeah.
He says, "Yeah, I'm just trying to keep them away from that. You know. Look, I understand I did bad things. I accept I'm not a good person, but I'm trying to do something that's worth the sacrifice of what got me to where I am now, what I am now. I realized that people's lives were taken so I could become this. I'm trying to make it not be in vain, at least."
Well, I'm satisfied with that.
Goff is like, looking at him closely and very thoughtfully. It takes a lot to admit all of that.
I just wish you had listened to me at the time. You saying you were gonna throw me back in prison, I couldn't have rotted there. I mean, I'm rotten already, but I think it was all just
Okay,
a
I'm trying to.
series of-
I'm trying to remember. Was he trying to protect us? Trying to keep us from messing with the stone, the pale stone?
He was asking for your help because basically what happened, or at least what he claimed was happening, was that he was looking into a ritual for immortality. He didn't know it would become lichdom. So he created a few like simulacrums, and they just basically went out of control and started like kidnapping and killing people for the ritual. And he tried to stop them then by raising the 4 heroes, but then the 4 heroes were corrupted by the power of the Pale Moonstone and forced him to raise an undead army.
Okay, but what was he asking for us to do when he asked us to help him?
To stop all of them, basically. He needed your help in like
So
basically getting him away from like Velis and like all the other undead heroes who were basically at gunpoint, almost forcing him to raise this army and then destroy the stone. But he couldn't. But then you were like, no, we're taking you back to prison or whatever. And then he got very.
Okay, I'm remembering now. I was trying to remember what Goff's motivation in fighting him was. And I remember it's coming back to me now what it was.
I mean, you all were really mad because basically, even though he claimed ignorance or like cowardice or like it went out of control, like he basically still, a lot of people got killed because
Right,
of his
yeah.
his playing with powers that he didn't understand.
Look, while I understand it may not have been intentional, you caused a great deal of problems, as you just so said.
I know.
When someone who is not familiar with you or what you've been through walks through your door and sees undead giants, the risen corpses of famous powerful beings, all hostile, all killing people, all responsible for the deaths of others, what do you want me to think? Oh, no problem. Come give me a big hug and we'll all forget it ever happened.
All right, point made.
I believe you want to help these children. I believe you want to make up for what you've done. I believe you, whether you believe that or not. I can sense it. I don't want to take that away from them. We're not here to hurt you as long as you don't give us a reason, and I don't believe you will.
No, you already killed me once. I ain't gonna try that again. I'm not stupid.
Do you understand my point?
Yeah, I understand your point.
We could help you maintain this existence.
What do you
Find
mean?
a way to get rid of whatever. I don't know. This may not be within our capabilities, but we could try to find a way to help you.
Well, that's not really gonna do for now. So unless you have any concrete information you can provide me, we can't really do this exchange.
We cannot give you the information specifically you asked for. Is there something else we could provide?
Try me. I'm open to all kinds of things. I like to know stuff.
Goff looks at like the party, just kind of like trying to think.
Well, we're about to have to go running around this whole continent. Need anything done or anything scouted or anything found out?
I mean, not particularly. Cedric over here takes care of most of the stuff I need. I don't need any food or drink or anything. I'm undead. I just like the information. That's, I don't call myself the librarian for nothing. I keep a catalog of everything I learn so that I could give it to others at some point in time, but only in exchange.
Well, why don't we think on it? And we can try and go after Robin first. And then come back later?
I'll have to track down Cedric again at some point. I don't stay in one place for long. I have a bunch of temporary little safe houses like this.
Fair enough.
Fine.
All right, then our business is concluded, I suppose.
Thank you for your time, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Of course.
I suppose I should mention. Well, I am not a follower of his. It was made apparent to us that, and I'm sure you are aware of this, but it's worth mentioning. The god of death is not happy with you.
Ah, shit. He genuinely looks like, as soon as you mention that, like his one eye goes like wide and he looks a little nervous. Ah, fuck. Figured.
What was the last thing he said?
I figured.
Oh, figure. I thought he said something else.
He is, Kellenvor. He's just not happy that your soul did not go where it's supposed to go. So, I'm not trying to torture you with this information. I think it's just important that you know that.
You know what? I'll consider that a good warning and worthy of a little bit more information.
Really?
Oh, okay.
That's important. You could be saving my own life, as it were.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So what do you wish to know? You wanted to find out about the Great Storm?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there is this monastery that supposedly is there, but I think more than anything, we need to know how to survive that.
Okay.
We have a lot of magic in here, as you are very well aware, and I don't think most of us could get through it, or any
You'd be
of
right
us.
around that. There is a monastery. I've heard of it. Haven't seen it myself, but I know that it exists out there. They get people from time to time from that monastery come back to the city for provisions. It's called the School of the Expansive Mind.
Damn.
It's a little known school of martial arts. They live within the Great Storm itself, but the school itself focuses not only on physical prowess as the other monasteries do, but also in honing the mind to be a dangerous weapon, quite literally. The students there excel in mental powers.
Oh no.
Oh man.
Is Goff, or not Goff, is Roscoe gonna have like fucking telekinetic power?
Galaxy
He's
brain.
gonna throw chairs across the rooms. Anyway, sorry.
You're right about one thing, though, that the traversing the Great Storm is very dangerous. It's possible for non-magic users. There's enough caves and cliffs within the desert that you can survive and probably dodge some of the worst of the storm, but magic users, you're certain suicide. So, as far as getting out there, you have a few options, the way I see it. You could, as some people do, circumnavigate it. Go the short way. There's I'm not sure how much you know, but on the southeast there's that a big locale known as the Motherlode. It's the largest source of Avakium in the world. Lots of ships regularly circle around to the coast of the southeast, but it might prove a little tricky. You'd have to play the politics a little bit. You see, Motherlode is the sole mining rights of the Alcalad royal family. So the Radiant Empress's personal fleet guards the place. You'd have to likely get their permission to move out there, and even then, there's a likelihood that the storm might wash out to sea, especially if magic users are on board any of the ships. So that's one option.
Quick understanding. Is this monastery, as far as you're aware, within the storm itself, or next to this Motherlode
It's
location?
within the storm, but I believe it would be closer to the southern end of the storm, nearest the Motherlode.
Okay.
So you might be able to avoid, and you would be able to avoid having to traffic your way through the desert itself.
Hmm.
The storm notwithstanding, it is quite a dangerous trip.
As we've been told.
Now, your other options, as I see it, is there is a complex network of sandworm tunnels that are dug underneath the desert. You could simply go underneath it. You'd be traversing this underground for days, wouldn't see the light of the sun. You might run into some of the sandworm nests, but that is a possibility if you're adventurous. The third option, the way I see it, is you might try to parley with the desert bandits. There's a bandit city in the dunes called Devil's Gorge. You'll have to offer something valuable to get them to take you there, and not just try to kill you and take your stuff, but the bandits there are known to have some means to weather the arcane storms in the area, so that might be a possibility as well.
Hmm. Well, never going to be an easy solution, but solutions nonetheless.
That's definitely something to think on. A lot more than I was expecting, so thank you. Genuinely.
Well, if your information saves my my bacon, then consider it a fair trade.
If we manage to sneak out again, we'll try to put in a good word for you.
I'd
I'm not
appreciate
sure
it,
that
but I
he'll
wouldn't bet on it.
I would have to agree. I'm not sure that Cannibal would appreciate us denying him one of his residents.
No, the god of the dead is a judge for a reason. He's impartial. He doesn't
Correct.
care what your motivations or your reasoning are. He just wants to collect souls for the city.
I wanted to be clear. I am not. I am just giving you a warning.
That's fair.
I'm not.
No, we're not friends. I understand that. We're not pals.
Well, I don't want it to appear as though I am trying to subvert the god of death and say, oh, I don't want you to succeed in getting this soul. I am just letting you know this is a danger on your existence, as well as the pale moon drawing closer every day. But that is something which we are trying to deal with in other ways.
Well, I guess I'll cross that bridge when the moon comes down.
Yes, I don't know what it's like to be an undead that has to deal with this. But we have experienced an example and an alternate history. And I will just say that as this thing draws closer, whatever you can do to shield yourself from it, I don't know if it's something you can do. If you wish to maintain your sanity, I would find a way of doing that, as long as it is not at a great cost, obviously.
Well, worst comes to worst, I can always plane shift to some other dimension.
That's a good idea, I think, actually. So yes, what's the timer on this now? How much longer do we have until it's supposed to like hit
A few
planet?
months.
Time is drawing shorter. A few months out, I believe it's within range of influence. So I would start making a temporary plan, and if, well, I'm sure we're going to be in the thick of it. Put it very simply and very, not accounting for all of the hell we're going to go through, but if we come out of it, you found your way to another place to hide, I will send you a message to let you know it is safe to come back should we succeed.
That's generous of you.
Well, you're doing something good for these people, so.
All right then. I trust you don't have any other information you seek. Keeping in mind that any further information will require a quid pro quo.
Goff looks at the what is that? What is that?
It's ancient draconic. It's
Oh fuck, don't tell me that.
means this for that. Something for something else.
Do we need to give you information just to ask about what kind of manners we should have? Should we speak to the royal?
No, I'll give you that one
Family.
for free.
That's
Easy
okay.
enough. If you're
Something we
gonna
should
try to seek an audience with the Radiant Empresses, first you should know their names.
Yes, that would be
That would
important.
be Layla and Kamra Al-Khalat.
Well, how is the first one spelled?
Laila.
Kamra?
Qamraa.
Q-A-R.
They're the known as the Merchant Queens. 2 tabaxis. 1 white fur, 1 black fur. But you will likely not be meeting directly with them, at least maybe not at first. You'd be likely speaking to their royal advisor, Azra Taheri. She's a dwarven woman.
How do you spell the name?
I'll put it in the chat 'cause it's kind of... Now, I don't envy you if you're actually going to try to go the political route here and try to get an audience with the empresses themselves. Dealing with court politics can be a little tricky, especially when you're dealing with died on the, well, let's just say coin turns a lot of heads around here. The city was built upon wealthy merchants. And they're all vying for power and vying for extra bags of gold. They don't take kindly to outsiders. They tend to think highly of themselves. And they're likely, if any help, will require a trade. Of course, you could always just kick down the doors and go in the Royal Tomb yourselves. You know, who's going to stop you? You turn me into a pile of ash. I'm sure you can deal with some guards.
Gosh just shakes his head like this guy's never gonna stop mentioning this.
Could always also just go after Robin through the sewers.
That's a possibility too. I know the sewers can be a little bit difficult to traverse. I'm not sure the last time, Cedric. When was the last time you noticed any activity down here? Cedric says, I'd say about a day ago, in the northern end of the city. There were some small explosives, caught the attention of the city guard, and they were chased off. Where they've gone next, I do not know.
Very difficult to track.
Well, we have enough work ahead of us, I think.
You've been really helpful, by the way.
Well, it's the least I could do, I suppose, for information you provide. If you have anything more to bargain with, just find Cedric again, or reach out to one of his little spies. They should be able to point you to me.
Will do.
Very well.
Did we get on it? I don't.
What?
Oh, I just said, should we get on it?
I think so. I think we've used enough of his time. Keep up the good work. Hopefully we will not have to bother you again.
All right then. Cedric, you can show him out. Cedric kind of steps forward and nods toward you.
Goff will nod to Odin and follow Cedric.
All right, you will follow Cedric, and you step back outside of the little hideout. He closes the door and he locks it back up, secures it with the arcane lock again. And he says, you should, as the librarian said, if you should need further information, find me or find one of the children, the orphans. Otherwise, if you intend to head above ground, it can point you to the nearest exit from the sewers. Or if you wish to just stay down here and wallow in the smells, you're welcome to do that too.
Alrighty. Oh, by the way, I kind of rummage around in my bag. If you see that little tabaxi girl that I, kind of lifted up and floated around for a bit, would you give her this and I hand him, a thing that I've had for fucking 3 years, a vial of will-o-wisp flame? It's really
I just kind of like sigh and shake my head. in
What
the
does
background.
that do?
It doesn't do anything as far as I know. It's an ingredient vial that I stole from the Pocket Dimension way back.
Was Myron Hawk's estate.
Yeah, back in Myron Hawk's estate, and I've just had that.
Alchemical ingredients. Could be an explosive. Who knows? Let's give it to a child.
You know what?
I could give her the
I'm just like
heart-
shaking my head.
It's pretty, it's blue.
Fair enough. I'm just giving you a hard time.
I just
Let me
that
just-
sigh I did was in character, by the
Let
way.
me just say one thing before you give this to him. Remember the last time one of us gave a liquid to somebody else?
It's
Or what
not
happened?
a liquid. It's
It's a vial.
plasma.
It's a sockwid.
It's a
Come
plasma.
on.
It is a flame in a bottle, and I don't care what happens to it.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. The next thing we're gonna hear is this town is burned down by a mysterious flame.
Sissel starts another
Mysterious blue
fire by
fire.
proxy.
Mysterious blue fire, and then everyone looks at Sissel. Sissel's just like, well, it's not mine anymore.
Listen, I feel bad. I feel bad. She's like a little kid, and maybe I was a little harsh. But it's pretty. It's blue. You can put it up in like a room or something, or wear it around your neck.
Cedric takes it from him and he smiles. He says, "Charming. I'll make sure she gets it."
Yeah. Cool. All right, let's go.
I think we don't know where we're going. Are we gonna? We're gonna go leave the sewer?
I think we want to leave the sewer for now, yes?
Probably. I forgot that we were just like in the sewers. Oops.
Yeah.
I think we should find our way out of here to decide which path we wish to take, and then move from there.
That's kind of what my intent was.
Okay.
Cedric motions with his good hand toward a nearby intersection of the sewers, and he says, "Just this way. There should be a staircase just around the corner that leads to the back alleys of the Dust Quarter." He makes his way around the corner and guides you all to a staircase that leads out back onto the sweltering noonday heat. What do you wish to do? As he parts ways with you, heads back into the city.
Okay, so I don't know about you guys, but thinking we should go after Robin first.
Hmm.
I agree.
I agree.
I don't know what's down. I mean, well, we know what's down there, but
But we don't know what's down there.
we know that,
We-
that there's.
We know what's down there, but we don't know what's down there.
Yeah.
I'm nodding, like,
I think we
sagely.
can all agree that we don't know what's down there.
I'm, like, nodding, like, real sagely. Hmm.
So, are you guys feeling some politics, or do you want to try through the sewers?
Tom, look.
Oh,
Just a whisper.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, that's what Sunny does.
well. I don't really want to wander around the sewers trying to find dangerous people that could come across us at any moment. But there's also a risk that if we try to speak with these empresses, that should it not go how we want, that we might make them angry, and then we will be considered enemies or criminals or what have you, trying to walk into their city from a country from another country or land, and then try to go into their important cultural location. So I don't. Either way, I think it's going to be awful in some way or another.
Yeah, I'm also thinking that time is kind of the essence here. At least, I mean, the more we stand around and wait, the closer that Robin gets to whatever he's
Well,
working for.
I believe that it would be faster if we were able to succeed in persuading these people, but that would require us to persuade them. We would have to think about how to present our goal here. I mean, we are trying to stop someone dangerous from getting into a place that is probably sacred or important to them.
He said that
Or maybe-
they would probably want to trade for something.
I don't know. I mean, how much coin would they want? I don't know if we're carrying enough.
Oh, I'll be right back.
I mean, I've got about the. I mean, I don't have a ton of gold.
We have as far as I've come to understand, a decent amount and with us, but I don't know if it's enough to convince them to let us walk into their royal tomb.
Hey, real quick, is there anyone around us, like listening to our conversation?
You're in an alleyway right now.
Okay, just making sure.
Mm,
I mean, we can probably. I mean, if we're really feeling it, we can just try and sneak into the crypt ourselves. But that's really dangerous. I mean, it's all going to be dangerous.
The problem with what you suggested is the word sneak. I don't think that.
Yeah.
I think there are too many of us to try to sneak.
Now that you say it.
Unless our wonderful dwarven bard can turn us all into very quiet little mice, and then Ellen can carry all of us in a bag. I don't think any of us are going to get. I don't think we're going to, as a group, get past this without some sort of confrontation.
So what are we all thinking? Are we just going to chance the sewers and go after them, or are we going to try and play diplomacy?
I don't even know why we're doing. What's going? I don't remember what's going on.
Basically, our options for we're going after Robin first.
Yeah.
Our options are we can try and talk to the Alcalad royal family, which is going to be exceedingly difficult because court politics is tricky, and we will probably have to like trade something, like a value or something, to even get them to like speak to us and get into the royal crypt. We can try and like Mission Impossible our way into the royal crypt, or we can try and like just track down Robin in the sewers, or the ruins in the sewers, and try and find a way in, or try and find Robin first, which might take a while. So, all difficult options, but that's what's on the table.
I mean, wouldn't the crypts and all that all kind of be in the same spot? Aren't they all underground?
I mean, underground, but underground in different places. Assuming.
I don't know. It's hard to say without knowing very much about the area down there.
We can try and ask those guards that were up at the north. And see if they know anything. Or we can just, go straight to the palace and try that route. We've got to make a decision at some point, because the more we stand around, the closer Robin gets to whatever his goal is.
Yes.
I mean, my personal opinion, I would rather chance the sewers.
My only concern is once we get down there, how do we have any idea about which direction we're going, besides just wandering around?
Well, he did mention that there was some sort of scuffle in the northern area of the sewers, northern area of the city, so that might lead us somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. There were some guards up there that chased off whoever was causing a scuffle, and we could maybe talk to them and see if they know anything.
I might be able to find tracks, and I mean, it's not my usual environment, but I might be able to follow markings or anything. It might help, maybe. But otherwise, the way that I see it is, if we try to find through trying to find out. Brain, please. If we try to do this ourselves without asking for help, people in charge, we are essentially chasing after. We are following behind in the footsteps of someone that is ahead of us, who has already made progress. If we approach the other direction and try to go directly through this crypt, we will be heading them off and potentially preventing any progress that might be made otherwise. Which would put us in a more advantageous position, I believe, if I understand this setup correctly. But, in some ways, convincing important people to let us do things is going to be more difficult than dealing with whatever danger would be down here in these tunnels.
You want to try and get an audience then?
I just don't know if we have anything worthy of giving them. I'm sure that even as little as I understand the value of the gold coin, that we probably don't have enough to convince them to let us do whatever we want.
Walden might
And I
know
don't-
something.
That's true. We could ask him for advice. I'm sure he hasn't spent a lot of time in the sewers here, though. But maybe he's interacted with someone. Maybe he's been to this wherever they live, the palace or castle. I don't know, citadel, the big building where the important people live.
And if nothing else, he's a merchant himself.
That's true. He does like coin.
Let's go talk to Walden.
Yes. Let us ask for help when we can. Yes. So I guess we'll head. If everyone's cool with that, we'll head back towards where the air dock or
Well,
whatever.
you know that Walden had gone into the city to meet my
Oh.
colleagues, so you don't actually know where he is right now.
Shit. Can you send him a message?
Yeah. I will do that. I'll send him a message to ask him where we can meet him as soon as possible.
Okay. After a moment, you get a response back. He says, "Oh, I'm just meeting one of my acquaintances over some information that some projects that we're working on together. You should just look for the oh, let me get the name of it. The Albashir Steamworks. They're on the Dune View. It's the third tier of the terrace, toward the eastern side of the city."
Can you say that name that again?
Which part?
The name.
The name of the of
We
where?
said- so
Or
look for the what? We'll look for the.
the Albashir Steamworks, which is located in Dune View, which is the section of the city on the eastern side of, basically facing the dunes.
Okay. I will relay what he said to the party. For brevity's sake.
Okay.
So I suppose we must head over that way. I don't know where we are right now. I don't. What part
You're
of?
you're in the Dusk Quarter, which is the very bottom of the city.
Okay, so we need to go up.
Yeah.
Okay, so we gotta go up.
Okay. So you head up to the third tier of the terrace of the mesa toward the eastern side. Since you're going to be wandering aimlessly about, why don't you all give me just investigation checks, and I'll actually. I mean, I could have Ellen roll, but that would just fucking defeat the purpose, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, but if Mel is here, it still defeat the purpose.
I'm gonna roll an investigation check.
I mean, I'll roll it.
Fuck.
Yeah, man. I'm not gonna see anything. You know this.
I know.
I rolled a 4. We only have one int character.
Not even
Oh, I'm in too. I
yeah.
just rolled like shit.
How high is your int?
My int is I have a 4 bonus.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, but
Those are
I'm so used to Ellen being the one who rolls the massive number.
That's
I
because she
apologize.
has expertise.
Yeah, I know.
What is Ellen's bonus? Because I just did do a roll for her, and I know because of reliable talent, it's going to still be super high. Even
It's
though
like
I
a
rolled
plus
super low.
14 or 16 or something, isn't it? It's just-
Investigation is plus 14, which means even though I rolled a 3, it's a 24. Jesus Christ. So you're all up on this side of the city, taking in the sights, trying to locate the steamworks. This locale seems a lot more upper class. You can definitely feel the wealth exuding from not only those who are walking the streets, but just the general facade of the buildings in this district. Again, the roads just seem like they are paved in gems, precious gems, rubies and sapphires and emeralds. The buildings themselves just gleam in the light of the sun of the desert, and once again, it has that protective covering that sort of regulates the temperature while you're here, so you feel comfortable despite being in a desert. There's a very clear distinction between the haves and the have-nots in this city. Eventually, as you're all kind of wandering around, like trying in earnest to find this location and sort of getting distracted by the obscene amount of material wealth on display here. But eventually Ellen does point out a building that, for all intents and purposes, it looks like it's sort of like a strip of buildings embedded in the mesa that are like a craftsman's district, almost like a section of the city that's devoted to crafts, or at least much richer, wealthier people, basically capitalists. And you see one building that has a series of just sort of like pipes and shit sticking out of it, basically, giving off quite literally steam. And you see people, kind of what look to be laborers, kind of moving in and out and loading and unloading what look to be raw Avakian.
Oh.
So in this place is just giving off like an immense amount of heat as you get closer to it. You come inside, and this place, at first glance, seems to be some kind of power station. It looks like this is a like a power plant, basically. Sorry, go on.
Oh, I just was reacting to what you said.
It's a vacuum clean energy.
What's that?
I said, is a vacuum a clean energy?
It's giving off steam. I don't know.
I'm just fucking with you.
So you can see, there are these large, very kind of complex-looking boilers that are inlaid with a series of arcane runes that you see the workers are very carefully loading this raw vacuum ore into. And it seems to be kind of making its way out to generators, which then seem to be powering the upper terraces of the city, which have an actual form of electricity, unlike most of what you've seen, at least in the desk order. So after kind of looking around and marveling this for a little while, you do catch sight of Dr. Walden speaking with this very muscular-looking orc fella. He's this orc that has this black, slick-back hair with kind of a salt and pepper look to it. And he's got a very nice, large, nicely waxed mustache. And he's just kind of bursting with muscle across his arms and chest. And Walden is diminutive by comparison with him. But you see the two of them just sort of talking to one another in a cordial manner as you approach. And as you approach, Dr. Walden kind of looks over toward the rest of you and he smiles. He says, you found the place. Good. You must have had a reason for tracking me down. Oh, but where are my manners? This is my close associate, Amir al-Bashir. He's head of the steamworks here, providing local energy solutions, we'll put it. He's been helping me with some of the power needs of my bode net. So, and Amir he bows his head and he says, "It's a pleasure to meet you."
Oh my goodness. Sissel waves.
He bows his head toward you.
Goff will not like kind of bow his head a little bit.
You're the only man in this room that towers over this man. He's a big guy.
Oh, okay.
And he says, "Amir, give us a moment. My friends here look like they are in need of a little bit of guidance from a wise fellow such as myself."
Jeez.
He says, "Of course, we'll continue this conversation later." And Amir walks off, and he seems to be micromanaging some of the workers a little bit and talking to them. And so Walden turns to the rest of you and says, "So, what can I do for you?"
Hey, so we've been tracking someone down and presented with some options, and one of them, we were thinking of getting an audience with the Radiant Empresses.
He looks at you for a second. And he's,
Oh, that's not a good sign.
"Oh, you're serious?
Unfortunately, I mean, it's either that or run aimlessly in the sewers.
Oh, that's He kind of he's pacing because you get the impression like at first he thought it was a joke, and now he's thinking about it, and immediately like what you know about Dr. Walden is that when presented with what seems like an impossible challenge, he starts immediately trying to think of ways to do
The
it.
gears are turning.
He says, "Well, the Alcalad royal family is the richest family, not only on this continent, possibly in all of Othara. They hold the monopoly on much of the Avakium, at least until the mining began in earnest in the flame fields, although it can't compare really to what they do. You're gonna have a very difficult time, that's certain."
Yeah, we know.
"Well, what did you have in mind? Maybe we can
Well,
brainstorm something."
Was it Walden who told us about the librarian, or was that someone else?
That was someone else.
That was a bartender.
That's right. Okay.
well, the information we obtained included that they, when it comes to this city, especially these wealthy individuals, they like to trade. They like to get things of value, bags of coin. But I fear we may not have anywhere near enough.
I would say that's a good bet, but I'm thinking it would be less that you're trying to openly bribe the empresses and more if you wish something of them, they will want something of you in return, a favor.
As it usually goes.
Now, I will tell you, my friends, even I have not actually met the Radiant Empresses in person. The Alcalad royal family surrounds themselves with yes people and sycophants. They don't often. They see other merchants, especially merchants from the west, as a threat.
Well, we are no merchants, so we have that going for us.
And we're not exactly yes men.
I'd say if you were looking to get an audience with him and at least expedite it, and I'm not saying if you try to go through normal channels, if you try to speak to the royal advisor and seek an audience, you'll be put on some sort of waiting list, and you won't see them for a very long time. If you try to expedite that process, you have to make a name for yourself in this city. You have to do something big. Maybe, I don't know, weed out the silent? I don't know. That seems very difficult.
These options seem like a very time-consuming alternative.
Well, it depends on what you want to do. What are you trying to do? What are you looking for?
We're trying to get to the
Hello.
ruins underneath the mesa.
Hey, Mel. If anybody wants to give Mel a
Oh shit, hey.
quick rundown.
So,
So You can jump in.
Yeah, quick rundown. We went and talked to the Lich. Finally, after some time, we managed to get him to talk to us, and we gave him some information about the Pale Moon, and also the fact that Kellenvor is not happy with him. And he told us where, gave us an idea of like where the monastery was, and had some ways and options to get there. He also told us that Robin and his White Road dudes were basically trying to get to a precursor ruin underneath the city, and so our options for that were try and find them in the sewers, which might be a wild goose chase because the sewers are very large and we don't know exactly where they are, or we can go through the Royal Crypt. And with the Royal Crypt, we can either sneak in, which is going to be exceedingly difficult, especially since a lot of our party members are not good at stealth, or we can get an audience with the Empresses, which is also going to be exceedingly difficult because they're merchants, and also stupid rich and stupid powerful. So Walden was we went over to talk to Walden, and he was basically telling us like, you might need to make a name of yourself or something, because if you just go and talk to the advisors, you're just gonna be there forever.
Mel, you there? Oh my god.
Oh no.
Mel?
here?
Mel.
Hello?
Did you just summarize all that to nobody?
Oh no.
Well, Mel joined Roll20
Mel
in the middle of
joined.
that.
Oh,
Didn't-
we can't
Oh,
hear
we
you
can't
at
hear
all.
you.
No.
We can't hear you. Are you muted?
Cannot hear you.
Is your microphone muted?
No.
No, but wait.
I mean, Mel heard. Mel's okay.
Okay,
So
good.
Mel still heard you. Also, Mel, I brought up the main points you wanted me to bring up with Odin. So yeah, no problem.
Can you tell I'm at Adderall right now? I'm like
Yeah.
fucking. I'm
Fucking
like I got like
blazing a
paragraphs.
trail.
Yeah, I fucking got like paragraphs of notes. I'm fucking active.
Shit, I love it.
Yeah, it's
Some
fucking
thought.
good.
Some thoughts head full.
Yeah. It's like, oh shit, I can actually think in full sentences now. It's crazy.
Mm.
Try restarting like the Discord program. Oh. Oh no.
Huh.
What?
Colonel.
Oh, this is happening. I'm gonna go grab the nail cover real quick because I don't know
Okay.
and it sucks.
Hello.
If you're talking, still can't hear you.
What happened to Mel's mic between yesterday and today?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Is Mel's microphone working?
It looks like it's active.
Oh, now it's lit up.
It's lit up, but I don't hear anything.
Do you have it like muted on it physically, or like?
Yeah, that happens with me sometimes.
Hmm.
Still don't hear anything.
I mean, if Mel can hear us, at least there's that. He can type.
Yeah, just type, Mel.
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hello?
Hello?
Mel.
Hi.
There
There
you
we go.
are.
What happened?
Discord changed what it's listening to for my mic as it
Oh.
turned out.
Oh.
Thanks,
Weird.
Discord.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Discord.
Discord.
Okay. So, you were talking to Walden. And he
Yeah, what did he
suggested
say?
some things.
He asked us where we were going.
Oh, he was asking us what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was gonna say,
We are one of the people that attacked the Snapdragon. We are trying to find him, and we have reason to believe that he is trying to get into the ruins underneath the city. And through a scry that he noticed, and through the information we have collected, that is the case. Now it is a matter of chasing him through the sewers, or trying to catch to get into these ruins before he does.
Well, again, I think it's going to be very difficult to get an audience, but that would probably be the best route if you were to actually receive one.
That's what I was thinking, but I don't think that, despite everything that we have been capable of, I don't believe we have anything we could do quickly to impress or appease these individuals in time to get there as quickly as we want.
How much time do you think you have?
I don't know.
We don't know, so I think we are assuming we have very little. We don't know how long this individual has been trying to break in.
No.
We don't know how much progress they've made.
And do you know how they're getting in through? I'm sorry if you mentioned this already. I forgot. Do you know how they're getting into these ruins?
They're trying to find a way in, to force their way into the sewers. We know that there was some activity near the northern side of the city, but the guards chased them off as far as I know.
We also know that they have like an alchemical solution or something that can burn through metal.
we do?
Yeah,
we do.
That was the thing that they took from that other ruin.
Oh,
guys.
shit.
Oh,
fuck,
yeah, the
right.
metallurgy
Oh,
thing.
Mel, you're a genius.
Fuck.
Oh, that's really good to know. I forgot about that entirely.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you for
my
coming
brain.
back, Mel.
No problem.
Ah.
Well, that's quite alarming. Let me think. Well, if they have something that can go through metal, then I would be, and you know that they're searching the sewers, then it should leave some sort of trace, some residue that you'd be able to follow. If nothing else, I'm sure that being newcomers to the city just as yourselves, they probably aren't doing this alone. If that makes sense, they probably have somebody showing them around, someone who knows the city and knows the layout.
I mean,
You
they
think-
had,
Otherwise, they would be taking shots in the dark trying to get into these ruins.
they had some he had some white-robed individuals with him. I don't know if that was the Silent or something
Or
else.
if
Oh, I don't think that the white robes are the silent. I think that's something else.
He does a thing where he makes people like him or puts them under his control, right?
Hmm.
Well, then it's possible he might have convinced somebody already. Gotten
Very
in.
possible. Well, The more that we talk this out, the more that I think that the best, the strongest option is also the most difficult, and I don't really know if we have a solution to it other than completely winging it.
Well, it depends on how legal you want to be.
I
Well,
mean, you know me.
I have no concern for legality, but I also don't want to put us in a spotlight we do not wish to have upon us.
What if I created a distraction?
Mm-hmm.
What sort?
That's what I'm good at.
I'm sorry if you mentioned. Did you mention you were trying to get into, like, you're trying to seek an
No,
audience? to get
no,
into
no,
the
no,
role?
no, I wasn't. I was just saying.
Not
I'm
you.
really
I'm
making...
asking like you as a
Oh.
group. Were you?
We mentioned our options effectively. Like we can either fuck around in the sewers, we can sneak into the crypt, or we can try and get an audience.
Yeah, but did you? I forgot if you mentioned that specifically to Walden, like you were trying to get
Yeah,
into
I
the
did,
crypt.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
we did.
completely forgot that.
Mhm.
He says, I could certainly have, well, let's say Walden Innovations wishes to show off one of their latest inventions, and maybe there's a bit of a mishap that draws some of the guards away.
Hmm.
Wouldn't that be bad for your reputation?
Who do I care? I work with capitalists.
Ugh.
Well, that seems like a good option as any. But
Walden, you are a strange man.
I'm not guaranteeing it'll be successful. I'm just proposing it as an option.
that's all worth a
Well,
shot.
if it's not successful, then what happens? Something
If it's
blows
not
up.
successful,
and
you're
then-
gonna have to run your ass off. That's what it means. In any event, it might be a good idea to at least stake the place out a little bit, so I at least know what I'm trying to distract.
So maybe we can try to get an audience, and depending on whether or not that is successful, well, I mean, shit. Can't talk to any of the advisors anyway.
I mean, we can try, but it sounds like the more that I learn about the individuals in charge, that our sincerity is not enough, and I don't think that we have anything of value enough to convince them, other than there's a dangerous vampire trying to break into
I
your.
mean, that sounded like. Oh, sorry.
It's just I don't. It's going to be. It's all we have to give them is our word, and that's. I believe that I know enough about many of the royalty and those in charge that I don't believe that's going to be enough. You know, they have no reason to trust us. We have never been here before. We've done nothing for them.
I mean, they could always ask us to do something for them in return, but that's.
But they're going to want us to do that first.
I'm not super comfortable with being beholden to a bunch of royals that we don't know.
Well, that is also part of it, but they're not going to let us. Not going to give it have us do it on good faith. They're not going to let us walk into a culturally significant location of theirs first, and with the promise that afterward we'll do whatever they want. I mean, that would be incredible folly of theirs if they were allowed to allow such things.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't think that first option's going to work. So,
I mean,
yeah.
or at least not within the time frame that we're wanting it to.
I mean, what do we even have? We have
about a few thousand gold coins.
They have more gold than like anybody else. I
And
don't
Walden
think
makes
gold
it
is
sound-
going to work.
And Walden here makes it sound like bribing is. I mean, just giving them money is not going to cut it.
No.
And we don't have the time. I don't believe we have the perceived time to run an errand for them or to save the city from some threat before Robin does what he's trying to do.
knowledge.
There's technology down in the ruins. What if we can offer them? whatever
What if we
stuff
offered to bring something back? Yeah.
Are
We don't
you
know.
quite sure that's a good idea?
No.
I don't think it's a good
no.
idea.
Yeah. But that is a good idea to take back something. Have some notes of precursor technology. Not for them.
Even if it's just for us.
Yeah.
As hard as it is for me to say it, I believe the best options we have are to look for a trail in the sewers or to have Walden blow something up and hope that it distracts enough of these people for us to go by. But should we be caught in that, that would put us in quite an unfortunate position. That is quite a gamble.
Would knowledge be something that do we know anything important that they might be interested in?
To them, unlikely.
The royal family, they care little for knowledge. They care especially much for gold and for profit and for things that make them richer.
Yeah. I'm
We
kind of
don't-
thinking that, I like the idea of going towards, I mean, we can always just rush in and see what happens, but if it goes wrong, it goes really, really wrong.
It'll go I would like to save most of our strength for dealing with the vampire and not royal guards.
Yeah. So, are we thinking the sewers?
I'm personally in favor of the sewers at this point.
I was really hoping that for once we could have we wouldn't have the uphill climb to try and catch someone, but I don't think we really have a better option.
Us, right?
That's not the blue hearts unless we're crawling through some sewers somewhere.
Well,
Hey, and
my
if they
offer
catch
to
us, maybe they send us somewhere we speak to someone.
No,
Back way into diplomacy. Doing something wrong and getting caught.
well,
Well-
my
We're just
offer to
going
blow
to-
something up still stands.
I think these people are people you would probably want. Not mad at you. I don't want to put you in that position.
We've had enough problems. And I mean,
And we don't want to do that quickly. We still have business on this continent. We need a place to return to get out of here. Well, actually, we could probably get back on our own, but I don't want to put Walden in any danger.
so
Yes,
do we...
I have an airship to take care of. I'm not. Yeah.
Well, if we do something dangerous or disruptive, and your connection to us is drawn to you,
Oh, they probably already know you're connected with me.
well,
They
then,
probably
I
let
mean-
you leave the ship.
Yeah,
then it is not something that we cannot put you in that kind of jeopardy. This is important to you. We cannot
Okay.
close that off.
I could always just hide inside Bode.
That's a temporary solution. It won't erase your connection to us should we do something that gets you in trouble.
I love that his team B energy is just.
Would erase.
That's a problem for future me.
Oh, that's fair. Okay. Well, I'll let you to it, but my offer to blow something up still stands.
We might just need that
It's-
later on. Keep it
Mhm.
in mind.
I think if you're correct about this trail, whatever solution this is, I might be able to find it, and we might be able to follow it. So perhaps this sighting of explosives in the northern end might be where we need to go. Follow whatever leads us there.
Well, if it helps, maybe I can give you a little bit of a present. And you see him reach down to his tool belt. He's got like a cylinder on it, which you recognize as one of the items he tried to sell you at some point that you guys didn't take. He
Is this gravity? Reverse
No.
gravity?
No. He activates it, and you see he holds the cylinder forward, and he presses a button on it, and it starts to kind of hum, a little bit, and then you see a small like metallic orb plop out on the floor, and it quickly forms into a little mini boat, and he hands it to you, and he says, "Well, in case you do find you need to blow something up,
The ball shoes!
point this in a direction at somebody, it'll follow them to the end of the earth till it blows up. So have fun and don't use it irresponsibly." And he looks like he's about to hand it, and then he looks to Stissel, and then he hands it to, and he looks at it like he's going to hand it to Ellen, and then he hands it to Goff.
Cecil's making grabby hands, just looks disappointed.
Goff takes it and he's just like, what an incredibly terrifying device.
But he doesn't give you the cylinder; he just gives you one of the
One boat.
one boat. It's a homing explosive. You can designate a target, and it'll track the target indefinitely. Like it's basically a bomb chew. When it reaches the creature, it will detonate in a 15-foot radius, 8d8 fire damage.
Wow.
And it can also do siege damage, which means double damage to structures.
Yeah.
So in case you need to blow a wall up or something, there you go.
Unfortunately, I believe we will probably have to use this before this is done. So,
Oh,
thank you.
we will.
There you go. Use it responsibly. And he looks at Sissel again, and he points a finger at her specifically and just gives her like the evil eye.
Sissel
No.
just gives him a toothy grin.
I'm on to you.
I have no idea
He's
what I'm
on-
talking about.
He's on Team B. What does he have to say?
I find it very funny that you are saying that to her.
I'm a perfectly responsible person with explosives.
No, I just mean Walden. Never mind.
Yes,
I-
you still have a living explosive.
Yeah.
Oh, best of luck to you all. Hope you find who you're looking for.
Mm,
Catch you around, Walden.
Thank you for your help, as always. Hopefully, the next time we speak, we will have taken care of at least one of the problems we're trying to address here.
He nods to you and he says, "Well, be safe out there."
I will nod in response.
Okay. He goes to track down his associate again to continue doing business.
And I guess we'll make our way towards the northern side of the city.
Okay. So you make your way around to the northern side of the city. Once you get there, you take lifts down into the Dust Quarter once more. This side of the city, facing away from the coast, just facing outward toward what looks to be just endless dunes that eventually reach what look to be further cliffs or mesas in the distance, maybe a few days' travel away. You find yourselves in basically a district of these dilapidated sandstone buildings that have really weathered the test of just the erosions from just the sand constantly hitting them. What do you wish to do?
We don't really know where this entrance is, do we?
No.
Your group? Okay.
Yeah. I guess we can try and find some guards or maybe some street urchins we can ask. Nicer this time.
Mm. I'm not sure if we ask the gods, wouldn't that draw some suspicion towards us?
I mean, who isn't hunting down some suspicious criminal?
But we don't. I don't. Yeah. I don't. I just think that trying to keep ourselves away from as much trouble as possible with the people in charge here. I don't know if they think that we're going to be in a problem as well if we ask them, hey, where those explosives were. Can you point those out to us? Want to take a look? I don't know. It seems a little bit suspicious without context.
We can try and ask some kids first. Or, I don't know, anybody who seems like they would know.
Sure. I guess, yes.
Yes. I would like to find a child.
Don't say it like
Oh
that.
my god. Give me an investigation check.
It's fine. I'll do it. I'm just not good at it.
Alan doesn't
Make a
know.
wish.
The streets down here are quite crowded on this side of the city. This seems to be an area where there's a little bit more so some of the areas on the Dust Quarter seem to be residential on that ring of the city, and then there's other areas like here which seem to be more like craftsmen, but like craftsmen that probably do day-to-day business with just the people who live here, and not necessarily like very rich merchants, like in the upper city. So it's very busy around here. There's a lot of people who are trafficking wares around. You do see some kids, but they're just kids playing in the street or just running to and fro on errands. Kind of hard to track one down in this myriad of the sea of people, basically.
Does it look like there's guards around at any point? Or, like, anybody who seems like they know their way around the city?
Again, I'd say give me an investigation check for that. In the meantime, if anybody else wants to do anything.
I don't have to be looking for things.
You start looking around and you think you almost see the glint of armor that makes you think it might be a guard just kind of in the distance. And as you just start walking in that direction, you just immediately bump into somebody. Just kind of almost land on your butt. And you look up and you just see this big bugbear staring down at you. And he's just like, "Hey, watch where you're going!"
Sorry.
He just got like a crate over his arm and he's just walking.
What are you looking for?
Somebody who looks like they know, like a guard or something, or somebody who looks like they know their way around the city, like maybe one of the kids. I don't know. Something. Street urchins here seem to be kind of a network. Everybody knows everybody, right?
Possibly. I can look around for. Actually, I wonder.
Oh, you okay?
Hello?
Hi. Sorry, my dice like flew out of my hand.
Oh no.
Okay. I want to look for like any thieves can't written
Sure.
around.
Ooh.
Give me an investigation check.
Oh. 4 and an 8.
So 24.
So 24.
Yeah. You do find etched into the side of one of the sandstone buildings some thieves' cant, which very similar to the other thieves' cant that you saw on the other side of the city. Just says, "Silent brothers and sisters follow."
Oh.
Ah.
Alan's going to say, well, this here says silent
Wait.
brothers and sisters.
Did
As
we
in,
tell-
like,
Sorry,
Huh?
go ahead.
yeah, go. What were you asking?
There was information. Did we tell Mel that Odin basically told us that the Silent are essentially the company of the East?
Oh, I didn't say that. No.
That is something that is important for you to know.
Yeah.
They are
Oh.
basically the like
They're the criminal syndicate of.
they are the big criminal syndicate of this continent. So just keep that
Okay.
in mind for in terms of our safety. should we encounter them? I just
Okay.
realized that you may have not known that because you might have been. I think you were gone when we did that.
Probably I was. Yeah, Alan is just going to say, well, I know how to find the silent. If we ever need to see them.
they would likely know everything there is to know. But I don't think that we want to be beholden to them for any reason.
I would rather not be involved in another. The company is
one.
enough.
We have one expensive underworld of criminals who want
We don't need another.
Correct.
Well, are there any, like, children? Small urchins?
Yeah, you could find some small urchins. Yeah, some little, some sea urchins. No, I'm kidding.
At the market?
You could find some children if that's what you're looking for. That sounds so
Wait,
weird.
why are
to
you
say.
looking for children?
Because
I
kids-
just
because-
came back. Ah!
Because kids know, we're trying to look for people who might know about like recent goings on, people who know things that are going around in the city.
And kids are in the no.
Like kids that walk around, like like kids that run around the street all the time probably hear
Street
stuff.
kids.
Yeah, and they also may or may not know Cedric, and Cedric knows a lot of shit. So
Yeah, well, Ellen will look for it. A child.
You got? Why is everyone saying a child and
Why are
children
you
so
saying
weird?
it so
What's worse
weird?
than a rapist? A child.
No.
Thank you for knowing exactly what I was
that's also
expecting.
what I was referencing. Thank you.
Oh. Which is
Okay, so you managed to find what looks to be like a little Aarakocra boy,
Oh,
kind of in rags. He's just kind of making his way through the city. Looks like he's running an errand. He's got like a package in his hands.
Ellen is going to step up beside him and just say,
You step aside, up front in front of this like running child who's like laser focused on his
oh no.
his
I
task.
said beside him. Like,
Bes-
keep pace with him.
Beside him,
Okay.
and he like immediately jumps back in fright and pulls a knife out and brandishes it towards you.
They didn't let me do that.
Hi, Ellen is going to flip him.
The bird.
No!
jumps in front of a child, immediately gives him the bird. Fuck you, kid.
Fuck them kids.
I mean, is this because he's an Aarakocra?
Wow.
Oh,
You gotta
Wow.
No.
racist.
Ellen is going to toss, to hold out 7 silver in her hand and just say, we just want some information.
He looks very cautious at you. Make a persuasion check.
Persuasion. Ooh. 14 plus 7. 21.
21. Okay. This little boy who's probably like half your height, he seems to take in your non-threatening demeanor and the fact you're holding money out, and he slowly puts his dagger away. And still clutching the parcel underneath his arm, he tentatively reaches out toward you and just snatches the silver from your hand and immediately pockets it. And he says,
And then he runs.
"Actually,"
Well,
and then he
Well, thanks, Lauren.
oh no!
He was about to just say something, and then you immediately were like,
man!
this is why you wait until after Falk does something before you tell. It's an option.
and then he runs.
I mean, there's more.
He's already off.
Stupid
Whoa.
kid want more money.
Stupid kid doesn't want more money.
Stupid
Stupid
kid.
kid.
Money.
Stupid
already
kid's
gone.
afraid to leave his stoop.
Wow.
He's already gone.
Get it? Stupid.
Ellen, make a perception check.
Perception.
Oh, thank God I get advantage on this.
Of course you do.
15. plus perception is 10, 25.
Poof. Okay. As you're focusing on this kid who just ran off with some silver of yours and didn't give you anything in return, you feel some small fingers on the pouch of gold at your belt.
Her hand goes and like grabs it, like just like a quick, like the reflexive like mom, the
Yeah.
slap when you're like when
Yeah.
your hand is getting too close to the sun.
Yeah.
You spin around and you see what looks to be a little water ganassi girl.
Hi.
She like looks up in surprise as you just kind of like. Did you like grab her hand or like slap it away?
Just like hit it away.
Okay, she's backs up like in surprise that you noticed her, and then immediately starts running away.
Wait.
Ellen, I don't think
Do you
this is
want
working.
some of this gold or not?
Make a persuasion check. There's gonna be a lot of these rolls.
Just so many persuasion
Ellen,
check rolls.
Ellen's like, suddenly my power over children's not working.
Not her
They're
kids.
not
her
her kids.
kids. Not her kids.
13 plus persuasion, 7.
Yeah.
20.
So 20 total. She slows down for a moment, and she looks back toward you, and then she looks toward in the distance. She sees like her Arakaka friend who's already been running off with some of the silver, and then she just runs.
I thought you had an effect on children. What's happening, Ellen?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
Gosh, just like watching all this happen.
What are we even trying to do anymore?
what are we? What information were we trying to
We're
get?
trying to get into the sewers.
Oh yeah.
Hold on, let me find a kid.
I think that we're just harassing children at this point.
No, I wanted to try something.
Alright, check.
They're times the charge.
Wait, you're making me do an investigation
Yeah, you
check?
gotta look for a kid.
I don't want to do an investigation check, I'm a +1! Okay,
You know what?
I'm gonna use my goggles and roll with advantage, and I'll roll a fucking 5 like I always do, and that'll tell you. I rolled a 1 and 11, so it's a 12.
Okay, I'll say you do find like a little dwarven boy who's like begging for like silver.
Okay. I want to say... I'm trying
I like how you said okay, like you said okay, like I'm about to destroy this check.
I'm just trying to think about how to do this without being creepy.
You approach this dwarven child and he holds his hand up expectantly.
I'm gonna say...
Please, miss, I'm so hungry.
No, Kim started coughing.
Oh no.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to reach out. I'm going to give him a gold piece.
Okay. He happily takes it and he puts it in a big pouch that he has on his side. You can kind of see. You have a good passive insight, right? Or is that
Yeah.
just mostly Alan and Goff?
I
Passive
think her Wraith
insight.
has like the highest. one, right?
16.
Oh wow.
Passive insight.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, insight.
I'm pretty sure that.
I was thinking perception.
I have... I am proficient in insight. I just don't bother anymore because Goth is always out there.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I can
I
stop
think you
rolling it if you
know-
want to do
No.
I think you can tell with your passive insight that despite this child claiming being hungry, the size of the pouch of gold at his side indicates he's probably been scamming quite a few people with the same story.
Wow.
Well, you know, good for him. I'm not here to judge.
it.
I'm giving him this gold of my own accord.
Yeah.
We want to know about how to get in the sewers, right?
Yeah, and also there's like an explosion a
We-
day ago.
I wanted to know about that incident with the explosion, like the guards or the explosives and like sewers, and like where to go to find that.
I'm going to get out my charlatan's dice, and as I talk, I'm going to start rolling them, and they're just going to be rolling snake eyes over and over and over.
Oh shit. Okay.
Ooh.
I've heard some interesting rumors up around here recently. Something about explosions in this area. You seem like a very smart, aware kind of kid. You have any information on this?
I might, but there's a lot of sounds here in the desk quarter.
These sound pretty loud. It'd be hard to miss, especially considering I'm sure you know when something could be worth something or not.
Make a persuasion check.
Good.
It's in wheelhouse.
You're just waiting for me to say that.
Natural 20.
Oh,
What is that going to
God.
be?
how much is that?
Where did my window
You don't get the
go?
golf bonus, unfortunately, so you don't
That's
get
fine.
plus
I
7
don't
to that.
fucking need 'em.
I don't think Harith needs it.
My person. This is a 35.
Oh.
You could have had a 42 though if golf was.
Yeah, that's true. That would have just broken this kid's mind.
He looks left and then he looks right and then he says, "I might have heard something. For another gold, I'll tell you."
Mm. You're a very shrewd young man. I appreciate that, and I'll give him 1 more gold.
Okay. He smiles at you and he says, I heard there's a. If you head down the alleyway a few blocks over, it should be unmistakable. You will see some blast marks on the sides of the building. There was an explosion. We think, the guards at least think, that a group was trying to make their way into the sewers, but with explosives, but the explosives went off too soon.
Well,
I've been seeing a
speaking
lot of Copperhead activity around that place, though. It's not a place for normal people.
are the Copperhead? Do I recognize that? Is that the police or something, or I don't remember.
You don't know, like you've never
Oh,
heard
okay.
the term
The
before. But
coppers.
Copperhead. What's
Get
this?
it?
oh, the Copperheads are the city guard. They're not the royal guard. They're just
Okay.
Like-
the typical law enforcement. They're mercenaries mostly.
Like
you
coppers?
mentioned you mentioned the sewers. Is blasting your way into them the only way to get down there, or do you know of any other ways?
Oh no, you can get down there pretty easily. There's lots of staircases that go down. I think that's where they were going, this group, but they were going with the explosives, but the blast went off before they got down there. Maybe a misfire or a short fuse.
If you thought that you needed to get down into the sewers, how would you go about doing that?
Just go down the staircase.
Okay.
You should find any number of them throughout the city.
Thank you. You've been very helpful. I will.
You have been very lucrative. And he bites the coin a little bit and then he puts it in his.
I'll pick
Couch.
up my dice and I'll go back to the group and I'll tell them what he said.
Okay, so I guess we find the nearest staircase and see if we can't get anything.
Well, it only took 3 children, but you did it.
Times 5 charm.
Wait, how many was it? 4? There was a lot
There's
of
like
kids.
4.
There's a
Like
lot of
4
kids
kids.
involved.
There are a lot.
5
is it
if
that
you
are, like-
include the ones from before.
Most of them hate
Children
us.
this time.
Ellen wasn't gonna like grab the kid and apprehend them
Right.
and like force them
Honestly,
I mean, Sitzel would.
if Haraith didn't speak up, Goff was about to literally like, hold up gold coins and be like, "Hey, what kid wants some free money?"
Oh god,
Just,
that would have
like,
been such a bad idea.
Mhm.
Goff was just
Goff
getting
very
impatient.
big.
He was like, "This is silly. Like, we just need someone to tell us something."
Oh man.
All
It's
right.
like literally seconds away from doing that. So it's good that Haraith stepped in.
I'm so good with kids.
Yeah, it's really surprising. Anyway,
Well,
did he tell you where the nearest staircase was, or where the...
No. I assume they are around.
Are we gonna just like start walking and look for a sewer grate?
I
mean, it's not
guess
a great
so.
there. Or is it?
I'd say it's easy enough now that you know what you're
Yeah.
looking for, and it looks very similar to any number, like the staircase that you went down to get into the sewers previously with Cedric. So, like, you just find an alleyway and find a side of a building, and you see a staircase that descends downward underneath the building and into the sewers below. You get down here, and there's just typical sewage runoff just running through the channels. Not a whole lot in the way of like dry parts. So there's not like a little lip where you can like walk around on. It's basically just like an open sewer.
Great.
So you're sloshing through this stuff. So what do you want to do while you're down here? Like, how do you want to approach locating where you've this site
I want to look for tracks.
in the piss water?
I want to look for markings on the walls, or things in the piss water, or things on the ground. Wherever, I don't know. I don't know. I'm
me
sure
a
that how
draw.
you're visualizing this is different than I'm visualizing it. Any markings of activity that can lead us in a direction
Like
towards
scratches
something.
or something.
Give me a survival.
Yeah. Yeah, baby.
Baby.
Yeah.
Snack
Michael
two.
Myers from Austin Powers. Yeah,
Snack
baby.
two, baby.
Ringo Starr, MS Paint.
What did you
Your
get?
baby. Sorry.
What is
Learning
happening?
survival. 24.
24.
Nice.
So
25.
as your group is sloshing through this water, to you it's kind of gross and a little bit of an inconvenience, but to everyone else, especially to Hiraeth, it's you're
Oh,
wading through it. Like for everyone else, it's wading. For Hiraeth, it's like up
no.
to your neck.
Hey, can I like cast levitate
yeah.
on myself?
Yeah,
Oh.
you
Uh,
I was saying
Alan-
you can just like sit on me if you want.
Ellen
Okay, maybe
hops
do
on
that.
the broom.
Okay, I'm gonna hop on the broom with Ellen.
Okay. So I'll say, Goff, as you're trudging through this, obviously in the deep water you're not going to really see tracks, but what you do notice as you're looking around on some of the walls, you see what look to be claw marks almost, like
Hey.
tiny claw marks, little tiny
I
ones.
have a question.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry in advance.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Oh, great.
Yeah?
No, you're not.
Does
Huh?
Tackle fit in here?
Tackle's still
no.
polymorph.
Tackle
Right?
is still polymorphed.
Okay.
Oh,
How long does that
okay.
last?
An hour.
An hour?
Oh, okay.
Well, actually,
How
It's-
long has it been?
it's concentration, isn't it?
Yeah,
Okay, you're getting on the broom though. You're not casting levitate. Just
Yeah.
being sure.
yeah. I got on
Okay.
the broom.
Okay.
Okay. Just making sure.
All right.
It would have
You
been
gotta
funny, like,
gotta
Hiraeth
get the Pokeball.
levitating and, like, dragging her along with a string like a balloon.
So Goff,
It's like up.
you do see what look to be like little claw marks on the side of one of the walls of, like towards some of the shallower end of the sewer, nearest to the wall. And as you check out these claw marks, it looks like they look like little rat claw marks, like as if a scurry, like a swarm of rats was fleeing from something. They are heading in the direction that you just came from, so it looks like they were fleeing from a place just up ahead.
Just sorry, I got distracted in the middle of that. Just to clarify, the scratches I see are the signs of rats fleeing in the opposite direction that we're going.
Yeah.
From something. Got it.
Yes.
Okay. Goff will say, I think I see markings. I think something was running from that way, so we should go that way.
I follow you.
I will follow the markings towards
Okay.
whatever it was.
You keep following the markings along, and as you go, who has high passive perception?
Ellen
Yeah.
has.
I do.
I think it's Haraith,
That's
Ellen, Goff. There's
crazy.
the trifecta of really good hearing.
Yeah.
I had big ears.
But you usually are drowned out
21.
by the clanking of your own plate armor.
Look! Please!
You chose the fighter life. We didn't choose this for you.
Did I?
Yes, you made her a fighter!
I don't remember doing that.
I didn't choose the
I just
fighter
woke
life.
up
The
one
fighter
day and her
life chose
character
me.
sheet was there.
Damn, fully formed from the head
Yeah.
of Zeus.
Exactly.
So as you are following these tracks, you're as you're approaching wherever this is. Oh my God, Mel. As you're getting closer, you start hearing a noise. It sounds like ching, 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 just over and over, like in several of them, a cacophony of these. Just like it sounds like metal hitting stone.
Oh my god, are they trying to get in through a pickaxe?
We dig, 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 dig,
We
dig,
hear,
dig.
so where do we hear that coming from?
Up ahead, just around a corner.
Well, there's certainly something up there.
Maybe Ellen goes and takes a look. So we
Do you wanna stay on the broom?
yes.
Okay. Be
It would make
very.
you less stealthy, wouldn't it? You're stealthier than a broom.
You could, we have a carpet. You could sit on my shoulder for a while. I mean,
I'll just hop on Goff's shoulder.
Hop on, Goff. Okay. So what are you doing, Ellen?
Ellen's gonna try to like be quiet and head there.
Give me a stealth check.
That's a 12 plus.
Which means it's like 38 or something.
Where's stealth? Where's stealth? 12 plus 16 is 28.
Okay, I was close. Okay. You very carefully make your way around the corner. Are you on? You're not on the broom. Are you on the broom?
On the broom because
Okay, so you're just
footfalls
slowly,
make noise.
slowly gliding through the air and just avoiding the rushing sewer water as you do so. And you hover just around the corner, getting closer to the sound of metal hitting stone. And as you round the corner and you take a look, you see three figures. Two of them have pickaxe. All three of them are wearing this copper-colored armor.
Oh.
Two of them have pickaxes in hands. Two men. One an elf man. The other appears to be a goblin, and they are picking at a wall that already seems to have a small opening in it, and they seem to be trying to make it wider. And behind them, arms crossed, just staring at the wall and overseeing their work, you see this big Goliath woman. She's got this dark skin, and she seems to have the hides of just beasts covering this copper armor of hers, like various like spotted animals and other stuff that she might have slain in the desert, basically. And she has this mean-looking battle axe in the back of her, strapped to her back.
Ellen's gonna float back to the group, and because we don't have earrings anymore, and whisper, "There's three people: an elf, goblin, and a Goliath woman. It seems like that." Hello?
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 That
I
was
hear-
weird. Did everybody else lose connection?
No.
Oh, I heard.
Was
I
it just
didn't
me?
hear it.
It might have been just you.
I can still
I
hear
know.
music.
I heard like, I heard like the and then
Whoa,
I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
had
at
like a
all.
moment
didn't-
where like the music stopped and nobody else was talking.
I didn't have. No,
That's
I
weird. It
heard. I
didn't
heard you
happen
switch
to
the
me.
music, and then I heard Mel talking, and then
Yeah,
you said
that's
hello,
weird.
and then
I
it
can
started
try
talking
to
about
move
it.
us to a different server if we
No,
want.
it's fine for now. If you move it, the server's gonna break the bot probably.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Ellen is gonna describe everything she saw. Um, the armor was copper, which is probably the coppers that the child was talking.
The copperheads,
Copperheads
like the snake.
that the child was talking about.
You didn't see any white robes there or anything.
Nope. The Goliath woman had a bunch of animal hides on her armor. No white robe. Like, it doesn't mean they're not under the influence, but
We can try talking to them.
we could.
Why are they mining? That's what we need to understand.
Good question.
I don't know. I very
aren't
much
these
doubt there are natural laws in this sewer.
aren't they the? Isn't the copper armor the law?
City guard.
City. He said mostly mercenaries.
This is directly underneath the city, right?
Yeah.
You don't think they're trying to collapse it, right?
I mean,
if-
they'd have to work for a really long time to do that.
I think that's collapsing a city from
They-
underneath is not a three-person
Okay,
job.
I'm just saying. I don't know.
I wasn't.
Damn.
No, I'm. Do you want me to say it again, but more nicely?
No, it's too late.
I wasn't. I was just responding to your question.
It's too late.
For what? Too late for what?
Never mind, Goff. It's too late.
Why do you always do this? I don't understand what this. What is this? Is this some sort of elven thing? I don't understand.
Mino's just like over it already.
Over what?
Just giving Goff a hard time. It's so funny. It's so funny.
So what, are we going to try and sneak past them, or?
I think that knowing what they're doing would probably be pertinent. They're trying to mine into a wall underneath the city, which is similar to what we heard that this Robin was trying to do. Maybe he influenced them. Maybe they heard about something. I don't know. I feel like talking to them might yield information we might find useful.
It's worth a shot. Things go bad, you know. We're strong enough.
One would hope. Is Quinn's with us, right?
Yes, Quinn is with
Okay.
you.
Just want to keep reminding myself that this dude's
What did they
here.
look like? Did you see their eyes?
I didn't see their eyes, did I?
No.
I didn't. I can go back and see if I can see them. What should I look for?
Glassy-eyed look. Anything that looks like they're not fully there.
All right, be right back, and I will.
Give me another stealth check. You're hitting me.
14 plus 16,
30.
30.
Okay. Yeah. You sneak right back around the corner. Their backs are as you're approaching them, you see that their backs are to you. You're kind of like off to the side a little bit, so you're looking at them almost like from a diagonal angle from the back. They're just continuing in their work almost methodically. The two men are just continually trying to widen this opening that's already been made in the wall. And
Is it like already like a big way through, or like
it's
just the
enough,
beginnings of all?
it's enough that a humanoid could probably like slide through it, but it looks like they're trying to open it to make it like a full height, like basically, yeah. The big Goliath woman is just sort of standing there with her arms crossed, still just watching the two of them, overseeing them.
They're not talking or anything. They're just sitting this in
They're
silence.
just doing it. Yeah, they're just.
Hmm.
Can Ellen try to like Sir, is there a room to circle around and try to get semi in front of them, but in their
It's a little difficult because the wall that they're facing leads into wherever this unknown passage is.
so it's just basically like tiny shaft going straight.
It's like you've got, I can't draw. It's like you got a T intersection.
Okay, so I'll just go
And
back
you're like
and
right
yeah.
here, basically looking at them, and they're just like right here, kind of like picking into this wall.
Okay. Yeah. No. And they're like facing this way.
They're facing this way. They are picking apart this wall.
Oh, can I like dart this side and then
Yeah,
peek
you can do that.
around?
I would say. Yeah. It's there's enough shadows in the sewer here. It's not like any torches or anything on the wall. It's mostly just ambient light from the sewer grates, and you can see like they have some torches with them for themselves for light. But you spin around to the other side of the passageway to sort of get another angle on them. Give me a perception check. See if you can see it in this dim light, even with your dark vision. Without other really good sources of light, like your dark vision's not going to be super useful.
Okay. So do I lose advantage on this perception check because
No,
of
I'd
that?
say
or-
it's a straight roll.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'd say it's a straight roll. It's not advantage.
Okay. 19 plus 10 is 29.
God damn it! Your non-cursed dice that I gave you.
Thank you.
You're staring intently at the one face that you can really get a good look at, which is this Goliath woman, and right in between, like sort of the nose guard of her helmet, you're staring at her eyes, and it's kind of hard to see. And then you get like some of the torchlight from their lamps flickers a little bit and moves, and you look at her eyes, and they seem almost like faded and milky, as if she's like looking through a haze in her eyes.
Oof.
She just okay. And then like flip heads back, and then it like yeah, and heads goes back to the rest of the group.
Okay.
And she's just like, well, the eyes are. It's like there's a layer of white over everything in their eye. It's weird.
Robin
that-
or Quinn nods. He says, "It's as I thought."
Is that what he can do?
Yeah, he can charm them.
So, what I'm guessing is that some of his these white robes or someone else he controlled tried to blow up this wall, and then the gods came, and then his solution was to control the gods instead.
I guess
Does
we
that
knock them
seem-
out or something?
I think so. We may have to, because they are likely not going to greet us friendly.
Let's try to take them out without killing them.
That is the intention, yes.
All right, I can take one. Mito, maybe another, and well, just I guess whoever can hit Verna.
I can hit.
Verna nods to you, and she slowly removes the halberd from her back.
All right. I guess I'll start.
All right.
Once you hear mine, once you hear my hit land, then come out, I suppose.
Okay. I still if Mito and Verna need to get into position, they will still need to roll stealth checks to not alert them.
Oof.
Well, I'm not at a disadvantage anymore, so
That is true. Wait,
Still-
you're not?
no.
No, Mito got the boots, the elven.
Oh, right.
yeah.
And
But
Verna still
But,
got her
like-
adamantine armor, so she's also not disadvantaged.
I mean, Mito's had not disadvantage for a little bit, but it hasn't. But the stealth rolls have still been on the lower end.
Well, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not stealth.
I know. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
All right. So I'm gonna need rolls from Verna and Mito. I'm gonna roll for Verna. Rolled pretty good. That's a 19 total.
Okay.
Shit.
What?
What?
I accidentally clicked a thing. Hold on, I'm getting back into
Oh.
roll 20.
Oh.
All right. I need a roll from Mito.
Good luck, Mito.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I forgot.
Forgot to be stealthy.
Why does
Well,
it still
it's a
say
12.
disadvantage?
It's because you haven't changed it back, but it is a 12.
I did. It's what? Hello?
Mito and Verna start following
it
up.
literally says not. It doesn't say disadvantage in there anymore.
Oh. Well, no, because you have the roll set to roll with disadvantage.
Where?
Well, we can figure that out in a bit. But as you and there you go.
Oh, okay, I found it.
As you and Verna start getting to position, following in behind Ellen, Ellen, I'm not gonna have you roll a stealth check because you've rolled 2 already. Make your move. Who are you going to attack?
Goliath lady.
Okay.
Um,
Give me an attack roll.
Attack roll. Oh. I'm turning into Laura Bailey. Like, who's gonna make this roll? That's 11 plus. Oh my god.
You have like an 11 modifier, don't you?
I think it's either 11 or it's a plus 12.
Okay, so it's a 23 total. That
Yes.
definitely hits.
Um,
Roll your damage.
that's
Are you
a
trying to do this lethally or
D4.
non-lethally?
Non-lethally. Very
Okay.
non-lethally.
Doesn't
I'm
there-
not activating the vest.
Isn't there something for rogues where if they get a surprise attack, they get something?
No, that's
Uh,
assassins.
They have
Oh,
advantage. Surprise attack gives you advantage, so if you want to roll again and try for a crit.
Oh, I could.
we know you're very frequent in 20s.
I'm waiting
No, it was better. It was a 16 plus
It still hits.
12. But, like, that's not. The D4 was a 3 plus 7 is 10.
Yeah. Okay.
And
And
then.
the sneak attack. And the
Eight.
dick. Ooh,
Oh.
that's a lot of ones. So 30 points total. So you clock this Goliath woman. She's taller than you, so you manage to kind of like hover up right behind her on the broom and just clock her in the side of the head. And you just hear this ting as the hilt of your dagger, or the handle of your dagger, just pings against her helmet and it starts ringing. And she seems briefly stunned by this move. She's not down, but she is stunned. At least to allow a follow-up attack on her. In the meantime, Verna and Mito, as you're trying to get in position, Verna is fine, but Mito, unfortunately, your armor scrapes up a little bit against some of the brickwork of the sewer, and that combined with the ringing from the helmet as Ellen strikes, alerts the other 2 guards who spin around in time, so you can still attack, but you will not get surprise attack on them. So you see Verna immediately rush forward with her halberd toward the elven man, leaving you with the goblin. So are you doing lethal or non-lethal?
Non-lethal.
Okay, so roll your attacks for me, please. I'm going to have Verna also roll. So Verna's got 3 attacks. All of those hit, because I rolled a 17, a 15, and a 15.
Nice.
Keep
Without the
losing.
modifier. Oof. So you did a total. Oh, and don't forget, I guess you're not using the fire damage, because that
No.
will be a total of 37 points
Yeah,
of
she
piercing
doesn't
damage.
want to burn him.
So you rush forward. You rush headlong with your rapier. And then immediately, just as you are about to run this goblin through, you flip it around and just 1, 2, 3 smack him upside the head with the hilt of your rapier, and he immediately just collapses and falls face down into the sewer water.
Ugh.
Verna, yeah. Verna, on the other hand, she hit with all 3. I just have to get the damage values for her halberd real quick. So that's going to be 1d10 plus 5 slashing. So 3d10 plus 15 will be 34 points of slashing damage, which is also enough to immediately knock this this elven man out. Verna rushes forward and just sweeps the leg with her halberd, and then as he plummets to the ground and he smacks his head against some of the brickwork, and then she just like rushes forward and just kicks him right in the side of the head, and
Jeez.
he is out. The Goliath woman shakes off her stun, and she looks around as her vision clears, and you hear this. She goes into a rage and she pulls her battle axe out.
Uh-oh.
And she spins around and takes 2 swings at you recklessly with her battle axe, Ellen.
Right.
So the first attack
Wait,
is a
didn't you say
20.
there's enough time for a follow-up attack on Ellen's part?
Not
Or was
Ellen.
that just... Oh.
That was enough
Oh.
time. That was enough. Well, they
I
could have attacked
misunderstood.
her. They could have attacked her, but instead they went for the 2 guys, as was the plan.
Oh, okay.
And you guys were not in position because you stayed behind, I think, right? Unless you wanted to be there, and then you could get a follow-up attack.
I mean, I would have probably walked coming after, like, I heard
Okay,
the sound of the initial
all right,
combat.
I'll let you a follow-up attack.
No,
if
I'm
you
not saying
choose.
that I need to, like, I'm not saying I want to, like, cheat the situation. I misunderstood what you were saying. I thought you were, like, when you said that you were saying Ellen was going to have another chance to like, finish off the knockout before this person
No,
was.
it would have been a follow-up, so she wouldn't have gotten a turn, but it would have been a follow-up to somebody else to come in and, like, do a coup de grace.
Oh.
If you want to, what I'll say is, like, she'll still rage, but you'll still get an opportunity before she attacks to do something if you want.
I will come around the corner and I'll try to cast a spell.
Cast a spell.
I will try to cast Hold Person.
Okay. What's the DC? It's a very high DC now.
The DC is a Wisdom save of 20.
20. Okay. Really? That's it?
I'm not Sissel. I didn't read the book.
Oh, that's right. You didn't. Okay. So yeah, it is only a 20. That is a 2. So as she goes into a rage and then pulls her battle axe out and looks like she's about to cleave Ellen in 2, all of her muscles lock up immediately, and you just see her holding the axe in midair as she is struggling against her limbs that have now just started working against her. And you could see her mouth is frothing in a rage as her eyes are going berserk, but she cannot move.
Goff just like does the motion and throws the spell at her, and he's just like sorry, and just does that, and then gives the opportunity to whoever else to.
Yeah. So she's stunned now. As the rest of you come around the corner, what do you wish to do? You see this. The other two of them are down. The Goliath woman is held, and is basically frothing mad, but can't do anything about it.
Well, if we don't want to kill her, it has to be a melee physical attack.
Yeah.
So,
I don't really do non-lethal.
I guess if Haraith is able to, maybe. I'm not gonna like roleplay for you, but Haraith is probably the best candidate for trying to finish a knockout before this person tries to break free.
Let me see something.
Soaring.
We're flying.
Feel not a star in
my
heaven.
God.
We can
Oh wait, no,
reach.
Horatio is sitting on my shoulder. Never mind.
Uh,
No, Horatio would have to jump into like the ridiculous sewage water. I don't.
Wait,
Probably
I
not a
think I
good
can do
idea.
something.
I could just swing at her head with like the broadside of my axe.
Yeah.
hold on a minute. Yeah, you do what you wish to do. I'm looking something up, but continue. What do you wish to do?
I did
Hello?
my thing.
So, Hiraeth or Sissel?
Sissel's going to just like scurry. This is dumb. Sissel's gonna Sissel's gonna scurry up behind. Hold on, gonna double check this real quick. Sorry, one sec.
Sure.
A versatile weapon can also use dex, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Sissel's gonna. This is dumb. Sissel's gonna scurry up behind this chick and just like whack her with the staff of power.
Shit.
Is that
Give me
a
an attack
versatile
roll.
weapon?
Yeah. I had
Give
to
me a
double
attack.
check
Wait.
and wow.
Oh my god!
What?
Whoa.
Okay, so
Whack.
you get an advantage. So you just walk up behind this woman and just try to beat her upside the head, and what it seemed like the ringing from the helmet was subsiding, and instead you just Big Ben this shit and just go gong, and it's like starts ringing again. She takes half damage because she's raging. Or is it magic damage with the staff of power? Is it considered
It
magic?
is. I'm pretty sure it's just like
it's a-
normal damage.
Oh, it's still bludgeoning damage, so it would still be halved by the rage. Does Hiraeth wish to do anything?
I mean, I do. I just feel like we're gonna be here a while if we're trying to whittle down a barbarian's health.
I mean, it is paralyzed.
I mean,
She is paralyzed
paralyzed.
currently.
Do we not have any like sleep or?
Not
I
me.
don't. I wish I did.
Sleep. As you level up, sleep starts to become less and less effective. So I doubt any of us are carrying it right now.
I was just imagining, like, remember Bo's fight with the old man? Just go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
Do we need something from this person?
No,
Or are we just trying to get
we need them
by?
we need them to not try and kill us because they're definitely mind controlled. That's
Going to
basically
cast
it.
banishment.
Okay, because if you weren't going to do that, Quinn was going to. What's your DC?
I'm 18.
18. I rolled a 14 minus 2, so that's a
Whoops.
12. So as you're all rushing up behind this woman and trying to like bludgeon her, suddenly with a pop, she just disappears.
Just like shrugs, like, ah.
Like,
Oh,
like
is
that sound?
concentration?
It's concentration for 1 minute, which means
Uh-oh.
that tackle.
Oh no!
I hate this
Somebody
fucking
else
cat size management shit. Well, no, that's gonna defeat the purpose. The tackle won't be able to go through the hole with us. Oh my
Does
god.
somebody else have polymorph?
No.
No.
So who
Well,
was
I guess
carrying
we're
tackle at the
all
time?
I'm
stuck.
carrying tackle. Tackle's sitting on my shoulder.
Okay, so tackle
We
immediately.
have to knock this lady out now because she's just gonna come back and we're still gonna be in the tunnel because we can't bring tackle in with us.
Well, who else was going to cast? I guess it doesn't matter. You won't let us go back that far, right?
No, it's done.
Tackle. Falk wants
Tackle
us
immediately-
Falk wants us to deal with the hell of tackle being this big. So
Tackle
we
immediately-
now have to deal with this.
Let me finish. Tackle immediately. The polymorph drops, and he bamps right back into his big size. And this horse-sized cat immediately pops into midair on top of Sissel
Oh
and
fuck.
like just dive bombs her right into the sewer water.
No.
Gross.
Oh, this is the worst. So this is gonna like frantically squirm and try and get out from under him.
Yeah, give me an athletics check to try to
Can
do
I
that. 'cause
help?
You guys
Oh
have
my
realized
fucking god.
Alan is like pressed up against the wall because Cecil is like on the opposite side of the
Tackle's a
bat.
big boy, but he's also liquid, so you do manage to pull yourself free of his mounds of fur. And he looks down at you like, "Mm," and he starts trying to lick your face. And
Oh,
clean
don't
you
lick
up.
my face, Tackle. It's gross. It's bad. It's bad. She's just gonna stand
What
up
in your
and just
mouth?
start spitting and like prestidigitating her face and prestidigitating her mouth, which is difficult because it's like a verbal spell, I think.
Is it? Ugh. Okay.
Just prestidigitation. So much prestidigitation.
It is vocal, yeah. Okay. I just imagine that the vocal component is fuck, shit. She's just cleaning
Oh
herself up.
god. So
So now
Ugh.
Tackle is basically filling up this hallway. Sort of pressed up against one wall, but there's like a little bit of squeeze room to get in where that hole is.
Goff just sighs and looks down, and he's just, I hate magic sometimes.
Oh my god, that's a mood.
I'm sorry, I'm just too useful for too many things.
yeah, unfortunately.
This is not-
I'm good at blowing things up.
Well, what do we do while this person is banished?
You got a minute, so it
I mean,
probably
Taggle's not going to get through this hole. So
I know, and I'm saying that if you stand here to kind of have a conversation, it'll probably be.
I
up.
know, that's what I'm saying. Like we're not.
We're in time freeze right now while you.
I mean, we don't have any other option. The only thing we can do to get Tackle through any of these fucking doors is to polymorph him.
Or
We don't have the Pokeball yet. What other option is there?
I mean, I can't tell you.
We could try
There
and
are,
blow up.
you have other magic options. I just can't, as a DM, can't give you the answer.
What other?
We can try and blow up the wall. Make it bigger. A lot bigger though.
No, that's not.
I mean, I
Wait,
guess we can just wait for her to come back.
I mean, I can look, but I usually don't have utility like this. So, I mean, give me a second.
My bad. I misread a spell. It's not what I'm thinking. So yes, your options are polymorph him again, or find some other way, or leave him here.
We're not leaving Tackle.
We're not leaving a boy. We can't abandon our boy.
Can't abandon our boy. I guess we can just wait and then, like, I don't know, gnaw on her a little bit and.
No,
Yeah.
it's just
I'm
a bad idea.
gonna keep a timer on this because I think we're probably like 30 seconds in.
You said we had time for you. I'm still looking at my spells.
I know, but people are talking.
Oh, okay.
So if you're talking, that means it's real time, and I gotta watch how much time you're using because it is only a minute. That's not a lot of time.
No. Stop role playing, everybody.
Everyone, stop RPing. Take the RP tag off.
Stop.
I mean, I don't.
I don't have anything. I'm not a utility mage. I'm
If I was capable of having polymorph,
check
I would
my
carry
spells.
it. But I don't have that ability.
I don't
It's
have
not-
polymorph.
Ellen has a tinderbox.
Well, Falcon, you were hoping for us to progress the story any further. It's not.
I have
I guess
have
we're
charm person. That's it.
Jesus. Okay.
Oh my god!
I guess you'll have to get creative.
I have
Wait,
a
you don't- I'm-
headband
I'm
that
looking at-
makes me
Wait,
smile.
wait.
I'm looking at every
wait,
spell I
wait,
have.
Wait.
What if we
Oh, wait,
take
never mind.
Tackle and we put him somewhere else?
Oh, never mind. That takes too long. Oh shit! Oh, that was such a good idea.
We don't have. I really
Oh.
don't think there's anything that we
No.
have.
I
What
mean,
size is Tackle?
I still potentially. Ah, fuck. Ah, shit.
What's wrong?
Hey, Wraith, You know how you can like do the teleport thing and sometimes you take someone with you?
It can't be that big.
Oh.
I have to be able to carry it.
The only solution outside of waiting for this person to come back and then bonking them to unconscious that I can think of is we use Walden's like bode thing to blow up this wall more. That's the only thing I can think of that can get tackle through. I don't.
I actually have a thing that may help out with that, but it is a single-use thing.
I mean, if we're just going to do that, then why not have Ellen shoot an exploding arrow at the wall?
Yeah, I have exploding arrows.
At this point, you hear a pop as the Goliath woman appears again. Is immediately pinned against the wall by Tackle's mass because she kind of like popped into being where
Okay.
Tackle now is.
I'm going to do something.
Okay.
I'm going to take out the ever-smoking bottle,
Okay.
and I'm going to unstopper it.
Okay. Smoke bomb.
And then I'm going to cast Polymorph on Tackle again.
Or-
And turn him not into a tiny mouse because he might be hard to find in the smoke. I'm going to make him into a normal-sized house cat.
Yeah.
Okay. What color?
Black.
Black cat. Okay. So Tackle is not. Does he still have 6 feet? It's just like
No,
a smaller Tackle. Okay.
He's just a house cat now. I don't think I have. It has to be an actual animal that exists.
So you turn Tackle into the small house cat, and immediately, as his form shrinks, he looks like he's about to fall down into the water,
I catch him.
and you just grab him and out of there.
So I'm basically like, smoke bomb, and let's just run.
I'm so
Okay.
sorry, Haraith. I'm so sorry that Haraith has to do everything.
Okay. So
I
the
wish I had more foresight in
If
my
only
character
I had that
creation.
stupid item that Scanlan had that let him concentrate on 2 things at once, I would be so
He had an
proud.
item that let him do that? Holy
What?
shit.
Yeah, he had a
Oh,
circlet.
yeah.
so
Headband.
you
God,
so-
you really need that.
So as the smoke fills this hallway, making it very difficult for everyone to see, you kind of feel around looking for the entrance that the guys are making with the pickaxes. You manage to find it. It's fairly it's low to the ground, so you basically have to crawl on your stomach to get through. I'd say
Gross.
Haraith gets through it easily. So does Sissel. So does Ellen.
Oh no, Golf!
The Goff's gonna have some trouble as Quinn doesn't have any trouble. He's fairly small. The fighters, because of their plate armor making them a little less mobile, are also gonna have some trouble, but could still squeeze through. So I'm gonna say Mito and Verna need to do athletics checks to sort of squeeze through this.
Can I
this-
help them by pushing them from the...
Yes, you may help them and give them advantage by pushing them.
I'm assuming that I'm going in last because I'm the biggest one.
You're the big boy. So Verna got a 17 plus with advantage. That was a 17, I believe, plus I don't know what her athletics is. But in the meantime, Mito, what do you roll? Athletics.
Mitoing in the sewer, what will she roll?
What am I rolling? I'm sorry.
Athletics.
I've been like coughing.
Verna rolled a 27 total, so
F,
she
F.
You have advantage.
Wow.
Okay.
Thanks, man.
You get it.
Jesus
You
Christ.
you struggle a little bit more than Verna, but you do immediately eventually get through. Goff, it's gonna be real hard for you to squeeze through here.
I'm gonna try and help and pull him through.
Do we have
Thanks, Sissel.
oil? No, we used the oil.
Oh, the slippery oil.
Yeah, the slippery oil.
Can I time stop really quick just to see if I like have an item I can think Goff would
Yeah,
be
yeah,
able to
yeah,
think of,
absolutely.
or like a spell?
Because what's going to happen here is you're going to try to do something, and if you fail, she's going to regain her senses and try to attack you.
Okay.
I have a different kind of.
Oh, you know what? I did have an item. Well, it may not have mattered because it would have taken time. I have those fucking paints.
That's true, you do.
But I would have had to paint the door, and that would have taken enough
That would
time.
have
That
taken
probably.
You can't draw
Yeah.
a door. It's just an arc. Come on.
Well, no, I have to draw the knob and everything, make it look like wood. Otherwise, it
Like
won't
fucking
work.
Beetlejuice, where they drew it
Yeah.
on the wall.
I could have done that, but if, hindsight and all that.
Just copy and paste it.
What do you do?
I'm trying to see if there's a quick spell Goff can cast himself to help him.
Oh. Ellen has an oil flask. She will throw it and smash it, like just
Don't
as she
smash
was-
glass.
No, okay, sorry, no,
Can
never
you
mind.
use
not
grasping
that kind
vine
of-
to help pull you through?
That's up to the DM. Grasping
I'll allow
vine. Grasping
I'll let you
vine
try it.
probably
As
used to-
Ellen was like going, can she have like oiled up the?
That's not that kind of oil. It's not like oil of slipperiness. It's literally
I
just like
know.
fire
it's like
oil.
oil that you can ignite.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't think
okay.
I don't think we want to make Goth more vulnerable to fire.
Goth is
Um,
lubricated
now
and
we go.
flammable.
Okay, I'm gonna. So can I at least see through the hole?
Yes.
I'm
Well,
gonna.
it's really hard for you to see because everything's filling with smoke,
Smoke.
and it's dark in there.
Well, but if can I at least target the grasping vine within the hole so that it can pull
Does
me
it
through?
require sight? Because I would say no, because in the ever smoking bottles,
Probably
radius.
requires sight, but I'll just.
Well, let me look at the details in the ever smoking bottle just to see like what kind of cloud. So it says cloud's area is heavily obscured, and heavily obscured means you have disadvantage on sight checks.
Can I crawl through to the point where I can see and then cast grasping vine?
Yes, if you're crawling in head first.
I'm assuming that's how I'd be crawling.
Okay.
I'll do that.
Give me an athletics check as you try to push your way through.
Does anyone? Oh, well, that's. I mean, athletics isn't wisdom, but
What'd you get?
athletics is 25.
25. Yep. So you do manage with your size and the armor that you're wearing, and the other things you have strapped to your belt and back. You do manage to at least get up to your torso, but you're kind of like wedged there. But you can clearly see the room ahead where everybody else has made
Then
their way
I'll
in.
cast grasping vine on a space enough feet in front of me that I can attach to me and pull me through.
Okay. All right. So here's how this is going to play out. That'll be your movement and your action. So you cast the grasping vine. It grabs you. Just give me a straight d20. We'll do like a strength check basically for the vine, and we'll use your wisdom modifier as the check. So roll a d20, add 7.
16 plus 7, 23.
Okay, so that's a 23. So this is what happens. The vine snakes out, grabs onto your wrist, and tries to pull you through. At the same time as this is happening, the woman gets free and lunges towards you with her battle axe. Your feet slip just away from her, just as your battle axe comes down near your exposed legs. You hear the sound of crumbling stone as she just smacks into the brick wall, and then you just hear her enraged roar as she's like slamming her fists against the wall.
Oh God.
Let's skedaddle.
Do I cave it in? Nope, never mind. Nope, I don't want to do that.
I will stop her the bottle.
Okay. You find yourselves in what looks to be like a cavern of sorts. This seems to be part of maybe the underground caverns beneath the mesa that haven't been built out into the sewer system. As you look, you see that some of the nearby cavern wall appears to have been demolished at some point, exposing a hallway beyond. There's no light in here. There's just a chill breeze that blows in from the tunnel. What do you do?
It's like completely dark.
Yeah.
So
even your dark vision is not providing you too much advantage here.
I will cast light on the staff.
Okay. All right. So that provides enough for you all to see the nearby surroundings, so you're not stumbling in the dark. And you see this hallway yawning open before you. It looks like it's been blown apart at some point.
If I look around on the ground, do I see any traces of like stuff like Walden suggested, or is that not apparent yet? Like the melted metal or whatever the thing.
Give me a. What kind of check do I want for this? I guess this should just be straight investigation.
Could it be survival because it's
No.
tracks? Why
No,
do you
it's
always
not
do this
tracks.
to me?
It's
You
not
always do.
tracks. You're looking for something
But I'm looking
specific.
for a trail.
I gave you a really good survival roll earlier, Tom.
I know, but I want more. It's the one. It's. I like
Just
being.
roll for investigation.
But you know I'm not gonna succeed when I roll for
Oh, you
investigation.
never know
I never
unless
do.
You
try.
never know.
That's the beauty of a D20 system. Sometimes they're good and sometimes they're bad.
Sometimes you have to
Lauren-
lie
Lauren-
with Callie.
And failures sometimes make the story.
I fail
more
all the
interesting.
time.
That's what Lauren says every time. That's what Lauren says every time she's about to roll stealth. You never
Listen.
know. I might succeed.
Failures sometimes make the story more interesting.
Two, Falcon. Are you happy? I don't see anything. Let's go.
I will say that
With
you
a
do not find traces of that material.
Yes.
You don't really know what you're looking for as far as that's concerned. What you do see are several footsteps, foot tracks, basically. You do notice that because, like, innately from your survival, you do notice that instead. And they all seem to be heading toward that tunnel.
Any of those look like vampire feet?
How do you know what vampire feet look like?
Web feet in there. No.
Hey
What?
Quinn, what do your husband's feet look like?
Ducks! It's the duck's feet!
It's very.
This is you did not ask that in character. I refuse to
did
let that
not.
be canon. That is not canon. No. We're not gonna start asking Quinn weird fucking
Well-
questions. This poor man just wants his husband back, please.
I'm sorry, but the implication that vampires in this world are exactly the same, except like they have
Duck feet?
webbed feet, is really funny to me.
No, like every footprint has like has this little emoji in it,
I will
like
say-
drawn into the soul. It looks like this because that's what vampires are like.
Yeah, sure. Fuck off. So the footsteps. I will tell you this. You'll get this from me. There seem
This
to
is
be.
greatest gift.
Yeah.
Continue,
The
sorry.
two. I'm pretty.
The way you said it, you'll get this from me. I just thought it was funny.
You
Please
rolled a
continue.
2. I'm being pretty goddamn
I
generous.
know you
here.
are. Please.
You see, probably a good. I want to say dozen individual foot tracks, like from a dozen of individuals.
There were a lot of people here.
Was it Sissel? It was Sissel who tried to spry on Robin, right? Because I
Yes.
almost lost my brain to
Mm-hmm.
the storm.
How many were you able to tell how many white robes were around Robin when you saw him?
Did I have a head count?
No, you couldn't really see. It was like a fisheye lens kind of thing, like a field of view thing, where it mostly just focused on him and everything around him was blurry. So you did not. You know there were other figures moving around him. You didn't see how many.
Yeah, I mean, there were some. There were a lot, but I don't know exactly how many.
Well, it's likely at least a dozen of them.
Well, better get a move on then.
All this business of getting in here being considered, it is likely that these white robes are doing this doing this against their will. So, perhaps if they are not too dangerous, we should consider trying to not take them outright.
You okay?
Should they get in our way?
Hey,
Or are you okay?
I'm just laughing at my drawing. That's all.
Oh, did you draw something?
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
T-posing
Cannon.
too.
It's canon now.
mean-
He has a duck bill too. That's
He
Wow.
did.
Okay, let me fix
It's basically Count Duckula.
He did mention. They did mention that the cultists are like.
it.
Okay. Sorry.
That-
Go on, Mel.
He did mention that the white robes are like recycled Johnny Dog cultists.
His name is
Someone's
Robin.
breathing a little intensely into their mic.
I'm sorry, the joke doesn't make sense. It's not the. I was thinking.
Okay, Lauren.
Yeah, I'm good. Why?
Okay.
Oh, was I breathing really heavy? I'm
A
sorry.
little bit. It's okay.
What's happening? What are we doing? It's all off rails now. I can't remember.
We're following the
We
tracks, I
were-
think.
Oh yeah. Do the tracks like lead somewhere, or are they all
They
kind
lead
of
into the cavern hall beyond that looks like it's been like blown
Blown
apart
up.
by explosives.
Does it look like just like regular explosives? I mean, I don't know a lot of explosives, but
It looks like there was a rock wall here and they blew it apart.
okay.
Well, I suppose this is the way we want to go. Don't like to be chasing, but I would keep an eye out for anything that's behind traps or anything to slow us down.
Alright.
So I'll be keeping an eye on like I guess like a constant survival check on the tracks to see if there's anything changes,
Okay.
or I guess my passive survival as we walk through.
I need a marching order as you're heading into this cavern, this hallway, this cave path.
I'll be like, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mel.
Alan could probably be first because sight.
Yeah, I'll probably be second, so I can kind of like look over Ellen and like look at the tracks that we're following and just see like, I mean, I guess we're probably walking down a one-way tunnel, but
Yeah.
I'll
I'll just be keeping an eye out for any changes in the.
Alan could be on the broom so she doesn't disturb the tracks.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
I'll stick close to Goff.
Okay. So it's gonna be Ellen, then Goff, then Sissel. I'd say Verna is in the middle, followed by Quinn, who's gonna kind of stay in the middle of the pack, leaving Mito and Haraith to take up the rear. So as you're all making your way through, Ellen, as the one in front, please give me an investigation check.
Woohoo!
Taking a look at stuff.
Woohoo! That's enough, funny.
Okay, here it is.
There's got to be one every
What
session.
was the total?
The total is plus 14. 34?
34.
Oh my
As you proceed forward, you're gazing around in the dark light that's only illuminated by this light that Goff has on the end of his hammer. And as you're gazing down at the ground, you get to a portion of the passageway. Something like a glimpse of something catches your eye in just as it comes within view of the light source from Goff. And you look on the ground, and then on the ceiling, and then on the two walls, and on each of these surfaces, in almost like like on each surface in roughly the same area, you see what looks to be a circular runic pattern, one on the floor and one on the ceiling right above it, and then two on the walls, like each wall immediately to the side of it. They look like these red runic patterns that are like they seem to be drawn in some sort of red liquid.
Ellen holds her hand up and then points it out to Goff and says, "Those runes."
Say
We
again?
saw those. Do those runes look familiar at all?
Do they?
Give me an Arcana check.
Did we see Robin Farlight carving those into the air and casting with them when at the Snapdragon?
We definitely saw some similar ones.
I actually rolled a 20.
Yes,
So that's a
these
20.
look a lot like the blood magic that Robin was employing.
I think yes. I think that these are whatever this magic he performs. It is that, and it is likely something we do not want to trigger.
All right.
Is it like, are the runes like spanning the whole area, or?
So it's like imagine a cave. So imagine like I'm gonna draw this. It's gonna be weird. But imagine like you're in a circular cavern or a circular tunnel, and you're like this is you're facing forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've basically got like one here, one here, one here, basically covering each surface of the
the way forward.
of the way forward.
So it looks like it's probably an alarm or a trap.
Yeah. Can I see if I can like discern like the purpose or like the mechanics?
You can certainly try. Give me an Arcana check.
All right. Boop, 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 boop. Wow, that's a bad roll.
Wait, can
It's
I also
really-
do Arcana or?
I'm gonna say no for now because I mean, unless Sissel declares like she's trying to figure out what it is.
Oh, okay.
Because like you're not mind readers.
Right.
So Sissel, it's kind of hard for you to tell. Mostly because you're not familiar with this type of magic.
Mm-hmm.
What you do know is recalling what Robin did at the compound, where he could not be counterspelled. You suspect that this kind of magic is non-dispellable.
Yeah, that's kind of what I guessed.
It's
I'm just
not
gonna like
dispellable.
convey that, just like this. Just as a heads up, this wasn't counterspellable. I don't think it's dispellable either.
Okay.
Right. Well,
Should I try firing an arrow at it?
As a magic user who has at least one kind of glyph spell, would I know that under most circumstances, if you have a glyph spell or something of that nature placed and it is triggered or removed, does the caster inherently know, or is that unique to each spell?
You know, at least with glyphs, that there are unique conditions for triggering them. So it's not always the same. It could be a person
Well, no,
walks
not
over it.
that. I'm asking, like, would if we were to trigger them, would Robin immediately know that they were triggered? That's what I'm trying to understand.
Depends on the type of spell. So if it
Okay.
is an alarm
So we
spell,
couldn't
yes.
know because it's like unique.
But if it's like just a trap that's meant to damage someone, not necessarily.
Okay.
But you also know that what triggers a trap like this, or at least a glyph, a glyph of warding, would not. It could have a specific triggering condition. It could
Yeah,
be any
right.
object. It could be like a person. You don't know what it would be.
well, you could certainly try. I would imagine we would like to back up as far as possible before you do so. We don't know how wide the effect of this would be.
That's fair. Well,
I mean, I
I-
don't. If we can't, if you're, Sissel, if you are confident we cannot dispel it, I suppose the next logical step would be to throw something at it and see what happens.
regular arrow first. Let's back up a bit, and I'll fire a regular arrow at it.
Okay. You fire, or you're just throwing the arrow. Or you're firing it with your bow.
I'm firing it with my bow.
So you fire an arrow toward the runic symbols. You just hear ting ting as your arrow just collides with some of the stone and just skips off. Nothing happens.
Did it hit the runes?
I'd say Ellen is accurate enough that she could have hit the runes with it and nothing happens.
Okay.
I have
Yes.
these, and that she holds up an exploding arrow.
Well, I mean, it might destroy the runes, and it might also destroy the tunnel. But it is, we could try.
Is that something we're okay with?
I also have a. I have a slightly disturbing solution.
Okay.
We could put a theoretical live creature there.
Your bag?
The bag of tricks, yes.
Let's experiment.
I mean, they.
It is not a real animal, but it is so
Then-
painful to do too.
I mean, better than us, I guess.
I don't
Who
like
has-
doing it.
Who has the onyx dog?
Arya.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you
Goff gave it to her to try and give her just, like, I don't know, something to help her.
Yeah.
So we don't
Oh,
have that.
so the
Uh,
onyx dog is also in the pocket dimension.
There's something I could perhaps paint. No, I don't think there's a way to paint around this.
Let's send out a little fuzzy friend. It seems like the fastest way to do this, and the safest so far.
Just checking. if we have, we could use the quantum entangler and teleport past them. I mean, it's a solution.
Teleport 50 feet to the right.
It would probably prevent us from having to deal with it. It would just be a pretty big it would be a pretty big item used for that purpose. And if there's another one ahead of us, then we'll just feel like fools. Or at least I would. I mean, yeah, I guess I could just try using the bag of tricks. I always feel bad doing this. I haven't done it in a while.
This poor animal fodder.
I mean, it's not a real animal, right? Like it's just a
Do
magical.
it.
Do it.
Wait, what?
The dark side.
You have a different color.
I hate
bag.
that gray is spelled with two different vowels, and I never know which one's the right one. Okay. So I roll a d8 when I use this, and that's the animal.
I will roll the d8.
Okay. Goff will pull it out, and he'll pull out a fuzzy ball, and he'll say, "I'm sorry," and he'll throw one down.
Okay.
And then when it's out, he'll command it to walk.
Okay.
Oh boy.
What is it? Is it too big to fit in the tunnel?
No, it is. Hold on. So you throw the ball down, and there's a poofing sound as it forms into a large black furred wolf.
I was kind of hoping
wolf.
for giant rat. That'd be a little funnier.
A dire wolf just spawns.
I'm
it's
sorry,
as
Alex.
as big as tackle. It's this big wolf that immediately just lands on these runic symbols. And you see the runic symbols light up, and then you just hear ding 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 ding.
Great.
And it
Oh,
just
it's
goes on
still
for
Well, is the
It
wolf
goes on
still
for
fine?
it goes on for about 10 seconds. Yeah, the wolf is fine. But the sound of it sounds like a bell, like being rung like a handbell, for like 10 seconds.
Well, if they didn't know they were here before, they sure do now.
Think you can tell them to? Oh no, these boys probably aren't native to the area, huh?
What boys?
The wolf.
What does that have to do with anything?
You can't just pass it off as, oh, a random wolf found its way down here. Oh,
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't think I'm not sure that the alarm tells you what what crossed the
No.
alarm.
I mean, if somebody comes
Probably-
back to check.
There's in the meantime, you do hear footsteps coming
From which direction? Behind us or?
from in front of you. There seems to be like a cross intersection up ahead in the cavern system, and you hear footsteps coming, like three sets of footsteps coming from those directions. And then you don't.
Did the wolf eat him?
No. The wolf is still standing there. You haven't seen anything, but give me perception checks.
Great. Who wants to be my dice? Let's
And I'm
get
going to give
that.
you all an opportunity to hide or do something else if you wish to.
I mean,
I'm gonna
Okay.
turn myself invisible.
I mean, how big is the wolf? Is the wolf blocking?
The wolf is this tackle size. This tunnel is bigger than the sewer system, so it's not
How-
like.
Is it possible for someone even as big as me to hide?
I mean, it's a straight tunnel. Like you could try to hide behind the wolf. I don't know.
Hey,
That's
if
what
it's
I mean.
a-
Like,
Or back out of the tunnel, basically, is your options.
Hey, question. Invisibility says a creature you touch becomes invisible until the spell ends. Anything the target is wearing or carrying is invisible as long as it's on the target's person. If I turn myself invisible, will Tackle also be invisible since I'm carrying him?
Yes.
Sweet.
Actually, yeah, I'll give it to you.
I'm gonna turn myself invisible.
Okay. Perception 25, Harith with a 23, Ellen with a 26. The footsteps stopped, and you're curious as to why for a moment. Oof. You're curious as to why for a moment. And that is when you, instead of footsteps, hear scuttling across the walls and the ceiling. And you look and you see shadows, 3 shadows moving quickly along the walls and ceiling towards you, humanoid shadows. They're just scuttling. Are
fuck?
you hiding or moving in any
I
way?
mean, I don't think I
I was-
can hide, can I? Can I even do anything?
Yeah.
I'm a big man. Like I don't. What options do I have? You have a vision of what this area looks like. I'm imagining something
Like I
different.
said, you can either you
I was
can,
gonna
if you have
try
a
to
spell to
blend
hide,
in.
or if you have a means of like running and backing out of the tunnel, back the way you came. That's really your only options. You also have the light source still on your hammer, so
I mean, I could put it out.
just to remind you of that. If you want to snuff the light, and it'll be a
I would
lot
probably
darker.
Well, then I would probably snuff the light sooner than now. I probably would have snuffed it like when we heard the sounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So darkness falls upon this tunnel. Verna tries to stealth, is not doing a great job. Rolled a 10
Yeah.
total.
Flynn
I
is
mean, I'll sit still up against a wall, but I'm not going to start trying to run all the way back out. There's an angry barbarian out there.
Okay.
Ellen's
So Mito
going
and
to.
Mito and Verna got similar stealth rolls. Quinn is gonna stealth. He rolled a that's a natural 19. So that would be, give me a second.
Ooh.
Hold on. So it was a natural 19. So Quinn's stealth roll is a 32. Okay. So Quinn just presses himself up against the hallway and just disappears. Let's see what these things say. Okay.
Do I get advantage if I'm invisible?
Yes.
Sweet.
Okay. As these shadows get closer in the tunnel, they seem to start to slow down as they spot the dire wolf in the center of the hallway. And they pause, and you see that one of them is on the ceiling, and 2 of them are on each of the walls. They're just clinging there. And they seem to be looking at this dire wolf, and then all at once, the 3 of them pounce. And you see these humanoid figures with pale skin jump down onto this dire wolf, and then just immediately start tearing into it with fanged teeth.
Oh
Wow.
no,
Yikes.
that's fucked up. What? Yeah. Oof. I was just
And
kind of hoping it would get like disintegrated at once. We wouldn't have to think
That would
about
have been
this.
kinder.
Yeah, exactly.
it does eventually like poof out of existence as they like deal the
Do
killing
enough
blow, but they're
damage.
like tearing into it. And as it disappears, you see the 3 of them are left there. These 3 women with this kind of like grayish purplish skin, almost like a pale skin, long black hair that is like kind of like covering their face. Their mouths are just smeared in blood from the direwolf. They look very similar in appearance to Robin.
Oh my god. There are more.
Do they look? Wait, I can't remember. Do we know about vampires because they're a thing that people know about, or do we learn about them from something else?
You know that they're like urban legends and stuff.
So I probably don't have enough knowledge to know if this is like a different kind of creature.
Correct. But you do recognize these 3 women. You remember the groupies that were with Robin?
Oh no.
No. He turned them into vampires.
So
Vampire.
what are they doing after the wolf disappears? Are they just
They
sitting there?
kind of wipe their mouths, and they're looking all around. They're going to make one more check. As they're still scanning the hallway, that is when Verna, her momentum shifts a little bit, and you hear this clanking of some of her plate armor.
Oh no.
And then with a hiss, they all turn in her direction. And focus for a moment, and then lunge toward her.
Light on.
Okay. Light goes on.
Light
What are the
on,
rest of you doing?
confusion.
I clang the, I bash the hilt of the staff on the ground and stand up and I mean it's already the jig's up, so
I
lights
cast
on, so
confusion.
that Sissel can see.
Okay.
Like, ASAP.
Okay. I don't have a map for this, but I'll have everyone please to roll initiative.
Initiative.
I don't have tokens, so you're gonna have to probably roll with roll 20 because I can't put you on the turn order.
Oh, I already rolled my number.
How do I roll
I
with
can edit it.
initiative?
I can edit it otherwise, but you have to roll with roll 20 so I can edit it
Oh, okay.
because I don't have a token to click and
Okay,
then.
well, I'm gonna roll it. Can you make mine a 14, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Let's see what Quinn gets. Okay, so Quinn got. I don't have a token for Quinn, so I'm just gonna mentally note that he has a 16. Who are we missing? Mito. Oh, Mito. We got Mito. Verna. So
Ellen has advantage, so she actually has 19 plus 6 is 20 initiative.
Oh, it won't. Okay, hold on a second. I gotta. Give me a second. Shit. Oof. Okay, so Ellen got a 25. Okay. And I'll just use like. For Quinn, I'll just use like. I don't know. I don't really have anything to use for him. I'll just remember that he's 16. Okay. So, Ellen, as these 3 vampire spawn are jumping toward Ellen or Verna, what do you do?
She's just gonna. Are they like within slashing range or within bow range?
I would say bow range.
Okay. She's just gonna pick one insight check her, and it's a 17 plus.
Yep. You got it.
Whatever.
You got it.
Yeah, and then take a shot. What else can she do?
That's true. What else can you do?
Is she hidden or?
I will. Yes, I will say that you are hidden. So you get advantage.
Okay. Woo! Isn't that funny?
There you go.
Woohoo!
Jesus Christ, Mel.
From Falk's die. Thank you. So that's D6. 4 plus 7. So that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, no, 8 plus 7 would be 15, right? 15 points from the arrow?
Yep. Okay, so total and then you double all this.
Double the 15 from the arrow, which was already doubled, plus 29 times 2, which is 58.
Plus
So 58
so
plus
73
15.
points of damage.
Yes.
Holy shit, dude. Okay. You focus. You stalk out from the shadows and launch an arrow at one of the vampire spawn, the women that were following Quinn. She catches it immediately in her neck and falls right off of the side of the wall that she was scrambling along, and just falls to the ground and starts clutching at her neck, trying to pull the arrow out. She's still alive, but barely. You did almost her whole health damage. That brings us. Hold on, I gotta.
How much damage did Ellen do?
73. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So at this point, I actually have them on initiative order with 21. So they're all gonna go. The one that was clutching its neck manages to finally get the arrow out, and she gets up for half of her movement and lunges again toward Verna and tries to do a bite attack on her and then claw her as well. So the claw attack misses as it just impacts against Verna's armor. The bite attack also misses as she tries to bite down on Verna's neck, and it's just not exposed because of like the covering of the metal parts of the plate armor. Verna just manages to bat her away. The other two vampire spawn, now noticing that other people are within this hallway, are lunging this time, one toward Goff and one toward Ellen. Goff, one of them is going to claw at you and bite at you for a 15 and a 14 total. Neither of those hit you.
Thumbs down.
And then for Ellen, the claw attack is the 22.
That hits.
Oh.
So you take 10 points of slashing damage. And then she is going to actually no, you don't take the damage. She grapples you instead.
No.
And then she's going to try to bite you. That's a 15 to hit, so that does not hit.
Miss.
Actually, does grapple? Yeah, grapple is so she's grappling you right now, but she doesn't do any damage because she was going to try to like grapple you and then bite you in your neck, but didn't succeed on that. So that was her attack. And now it is her 8th's turn. You see one of these women is trying to attack Verna, one is grappling Ellen, and the last one tried to melee with Goff and didn't get through his armor. So what do you wish to do?
I don't have to pop like roll, so.
What's that?
I don't know why I had to roll this high, because I don't really know what's going on or what I want to do in this situation. What's the one that got really, really injured? Is that the one grappling?
That's the one attacking Verna.
Okay.
Pretty injured.
Can I like maneuver around it and try to attack it?
Yeah, absolutely. You can push with your movement. You can push past, rushing past the two that are engaged with Ellen and Goff, and rush around to behind the one that's attacking Verna and attack it.
It's like a natural 19, so it's really
Yeah,
high. I can't
that
match
hits.
right now.
Yep, that hits.
Points of damage.
12 points. Okay. Okay.
22 to hit.
What's the second attack?
22 to hit.
Yeah, that hits as well.
Uh, 13 points of damage.
Yes. So you're attacking with the blood axe?
Yeah.
Okay. You bring your axe down upon the back of this woman's exposed skull as she is scrambling to try to claw and bite at Verna, and you just hear this thunk as it just impacts with the back of her skull, and her whole body goes limp, and she drops. And that's your turn.
Okay.
So that brings us to Goff. You've got one currently engaged with you.
Realizing something as we get attacked by these vampires, or whatever they are, some vampire form. Goff is going to turn around. Will turn his torso around to throw a spell back at Quinn and cast Death Ward on him.
Okay.
Because I should have done that before combat, but I didn't think about it until after the combat started.
Actually, what is your... Oh, I forgot that Quinn is a 16, but I'll let you go first. So he'll follow you. I just forgot because he's...
Well, regardless of when he goes, I'm casting the spell on him.
So I'll let you do your turn, and then it'll be Quinn's turn.
as far as I can tell, he is not as hardy as us. Probably, I'm guessing he's more of a civilian.
You
So
actually, I don't think you would even see him because he rolled like a 32 on stealth.
oh, he's literally so well hidden. I don't even know where he is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then if I can't do that, then fuck. Give me a second, because my plan was to cast that on him, and that was basically my turn. Is one engaged with me?
Yes. And tried to attack you.
Well, I can try something, but I don't know enough about vampires in this universe to know. These cannot be full vampires because Alan nearly killed one with one hit, even though it was a big hit. So I'm hoping.
One is actually already dead.
Oh well, there you go. So I'm gonna just do. I'm just gonna try this because it, experimentation. Wait, let me check before I do that. Let me make sure I understand. I'm level way now 15.
Sick. Are you?
We're 15, right?
16? You're
No, we're
15.
15.
Yeah.
I
Sorry.
don't remember being 16.
No,
Yeah. No, I haven't gotten that ability score. Okay, 15. So at level 15, I have. Oh, whatever. It's fine. I'll figure it out later. I'm gonna try using turn/destroy undead on the other team.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
They count as undead, right?
Yeah, they do.
So I'm gonna try it, and now with my stone, it is a CR 8 or lower.
Ooh, okay.
So
what's
I'm
the
hoping
DC?
that they are.
And it's wisdom.
Oh fuck! I haven't used it in a while. Let me see. Turn. Each undead that can see wisdom saving throw. The creature fails. Turn for 1 minute until it takes damage. But then it becomes destroy undead. So
It's still wisdom, I think. It's just it has the extra effect that if it's under the CR, it just
the
destroys.
turn
it.
undead always can work on any undead, but destroy undead has the CR requirement.
Correct.
Okay, so
you have a CR 8 right now.
and it is a wisdom save against a 20.
Okay. Okay.
See if it works.
You see both women immediately scream and hold their heads in agony as they both turn into ash.
Oh!
Really?
Jesus.
Yep, they were CR5.
Wow.
And they both failed? Oh my god. I wasn't trying to end the combat that quickly. I was like, oh, maybe I'll make one run away or one will. Jesus, I'm sorry. Fuck.
Don't be sorry, it was awesome.
Well, I just feel bad for people who didn't even take a turn.
No, don't worry about
That
it.
was
Please,
good.
don't worry about it. Speed run.
Speedrun chat.
Wait,
But
so I'm
also-
trying to figure out how many uses of that do I have?
Arcadia
No,
Rising
no.
any
Do a day, I
percent. The speed run is like 3 years long.
No.
Also, but I'm also got.
Oh, yeah, it's
I want to
twice.
look at the dead one.
But yeah, just for roleplay's sake, Goff is like he turns around and turns and looks at him. He's like, let's see how let's like knowing like the stone makes this better. He's like, let's see how this works, and then he just does hold his hand out and he just melt. He's like, oh, okay.
Jesus.
Is the
Wait,
one?
Wait, hold on a minute. Oh no, it'll still work because your Destroy Undead right now is a CR6 because you don't get the CR4 variant until level 17. Just for future reference. So
Wait, what's this?
So that's the max CR of 8. In other words, once, because normally your Destroy Undead only goes up to CR4.
It just says the challenging cap on destroyed doubles. Is max. Oh, I see, max. Okay, well.
Yeah, sorry if that was unclear.
I mean, it still worked. It's fine.
So your current Destroy Undead is CR3, which means now it's CR6. Which
Okay.
still work because they were CR5.
Well, that won't. I don't think that'll upgrade until
That won't upgrade to level 17.
RIP.
The one that we killed earlier. Is she
Is she what?
still just dead?
You see her slowly turning into ash.
Okay.
Um,
Well,
Eventually, you're left with nothing more in this locale than just a few piles of ash and whatever weird substance is left of the dire wolf, whatever magic
I
substance
mean,
that
it's
was.
probably just like some sparkles and dust. Like
Yeah.
it's I mean, it's basically a magical animal. So
Three ash piles, one sparkle dust pile. What
that
just
was-
glitter?
Goff looks at the back of his hand like, well, that was easier.
Okay, but let's just walk through the
Is-
glyphs.
Is everyone okay? Did anyone get bitten?
Nope.
No.
No,
Okay.
I was held. But
Ellen
that's
is
it.
covered in dust, by the way, because the one vampire was grappling her.
and,
And,
then I just melted it.
yeah. So Ellen,
Ellen
you're
is just-
covered in like this fine gray soot.
Mm,
Sissel prestidigitates her.
thank you.
I'm hoping that Cecil prestidigitated herself after being
She-
pushed into
I
sewage
went
water.
through a whole fucking ordeal of doing exactly that.
Yeah,
Did you roleplay and I just missed it?
she did.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I must have been distracted. Sorry.
Okay.
Ugh.
So the hallway lies ahead of you. It becomes like a cross intersection where the tunnel split off to the left, right, and forward.
Left,
no,
right, and forward.
Goff, do you see any tracks or anything?
Let me take a look. What do I see? If I look at the
Give me a
ground,
survival check.
you know it.
You know it, boy. You know it.
25.
25.
Better than 24.
25.
25.
You carefully scrutinize the tracks in the dust. Some of them have been kicked up by the recent, very, very brief conflict. You see that the footsteps seem to go in every direction, but you see the largest concentration of them heading in the forward direction. So the left and right seem to just have one each, which you suspect are probably were the two vampire spawns that you just killed. Two of them at least. And then the rest are heading forward.
Wait, I'm sorry. So the largest concentration is going which direction?
Directly ahead of you.
Okay, and then, so you said that the ones from
The trails to the left and right seem to only have like one set of tracks each, which seem to now you understand correspond to two of the three vampire spawns that crawled out of those tunnels.
Okay. If I take just like a few seconds just to like perception, listen for sounds from each tunnel, do I hear anything distinct, or is it all pretty much the same?
It's all pretty much the same. You just hear the whistling of wind.
Okay.
Well, it looks like forward is the most populated, so likely this is the way. I think the other two paths are where those creatures came from.
Okay. So, as you make your way forward, heading down the tunnel where this rough concentration of footsteps is, as you start progressing, this roughly hewn cavern seems to break out into. It looks like it's broken through a wall at some point. And as you near this wall, you see that there's torchlight from beyond, and you can hear the sound of footsteps. And not getting closer, but looking through this break in the wall and a wall that you're looking through, you see what looks to be the interior of a catacomb.
Well,
A catacomb is what mean again? Is it just like a big
Like a
cave?
tomb.
Oh, a
crypt.
tomb. Okay.
Crypt, tomb.
We're under Paris, guys.
Oh, could this? I mean, do we get the implication this might be the royal family's crypt?
Might be, it might not be, you're not sure. But
Okay.
given what you know so far, it's a good possibility.
And do we see anything else in there, or just that we can see it's a crypt?
Staring forward, you see that you're just met with another wall, because you seem to be like in a section that may have had a staircase that leads down into some sepulchers, and taking the staircase upward, you would get to the main area of the catacombs. In fact, it looks like as you stare at the ground where this this wall was broken through. It looks like they actually kind of smashed one of the resting places. You see like a scattered stone, the remains of a scattered stone casket, and like some bones that have just been sort of thrown against the wall as they've broken through.
And the footsteps sound they're coming from that room, right that room itself.
Yeah.
Or...
No problem, Lauren. I think we're actually going to conclude. I wanted to just get to the stopping point, so I feel like before we go any further into this whole investigation, we'll say that you've kind of reached this tomb, and that is where we'll pick up next time.
Okay.
Alright.
Because I don't want to get too
Okay.
far into this.
Yeah, I figured it was probably about time to stop,
Yeah.
just because of the time and the
No
clock.
problem. Thank you all for coming. I know
Yeah,
that
thank
people
you.
are tired or
Yeah.
sick or stuff, but thank you.
Also, I want
Thank
to
you
show off.
for-
Oh,
wanna
sorry.
go-
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm gonna go take a
Oh.
nice shower now. No, wait,
Okay.
I have to snake the drain first. No,
Oh.
it wasn't draining. That's why I didn't do it earlier.
I had
Okay,
to do
well,
that recently.
good night,
Yeah.
guys.
Good night.
Good night.
I like how the bot waves when it's shutting down, so I waved back.
Yeah.
I want to show off. So I ordered a dice because I do impulsive dumb
Ooh.
bullshit.
Mm.
I already used it on the Tuesday D&D game, but to break it in. But this is my new D20, and I had to. I didn't order the whole set because the whole set was like $80, but the D20
Oof.
by itself was better.
Is it a metal one?
It's a glass one. It's really pretty. Look
Oh
at that.
wow!
Wow.
That's so
That's
Yeah,
so
That's
pretty.
what, this is my new D20 that I'm using, and it has been. It's probably the most balanced rolling D20 I have.
Who's Crystal Maggie?
It's a Etsy shop. It's just the name of
Okay.
Etsy shop. If you go look at Crystal Maggie. It's like
Alright.
just like like all the dice that person makes are incredible. Like there's a bunch of glass sets, but they're all really expensive. Is the problem? Like
Of course.
if you want a full set of
Oh.
7, it's like anywhere from like
Yeah,
$50 to
'cause they're-
$80.
some of them are like stone too. Like
Yeah.
Artisanal. Honestly,
yeah.
though, that specific D20 would be like the perfect character die for the character I'm thinking of next
Oh yeah.
campaign.
No, yeah. I just really like that I had a crescent moon on it, and also it was like rainbow,
yeah.
Yeah,
It's good
so it
shit.
kind of works for everything.
yeah, it does. Oh, but it looks so pretty.
But there's a lot of other good ones in that store too. But yeah, it has gotten me like consistently like better results than even my like cool metal one.
I remember, I remember my metal ones, like the ones that Falcon buy me, are from like